Selinsgrove and Manheim Central have traveled different paths to tonight's championship game. The Barons navigating District 3, then beating West Allegheny in the West Finals. Meanwhile, the Seals capturing the top prize in District 4 before state playoff wins over Allentown Central Catholic, then Archbishop Wood in the East Final. Tonight, the unbeatens collide. It's the PIAA 3A State Championship on PCN.
Tonight from Hershey Park Stadium, the Pennsylvania Cable Network presents the PIAA Class 3A Football Championship. Tonight's matchup, the Selinsgrove Seals and the Barons of Manheim Central High School. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the matchup of the only two sets of unbeatens in this tournament. It's 15-0 Manheim Central and 15-0 Selinsgrove. My name is Bob McCool. Alongside me, my broadcast partner is Steve Degler, as we get you set for two teams who have been regarded as two of the top teams in the state of Pennsylvania throughout this 2009 season. Everybody had them in their top five throughout this season, and now they clearly are the top two, without a doubt, at 15-0, the last of the unbeatens at the AAA level, squaring off head-to-head against one another. And the interesting thing about all this, and we'll talk about this as the game goes on, is that both of these teams have had their struggles in the PIAA playoffs. Selinsgrove, Steve, finally cracking through. Throughout the decade of the 2000s, they have been knocking on the PIAA door and finally here tonight looking for gold.
You're exactly right, Bob. And Selinsgrove is finally here having a great season, undefeated under second-year head coach Dave Hess. And they've done it really with both offense and defense. They've had a very nice balance. He used to be the defensive coordinator of this team. He's put on a fantastic system with a 3-5 that has a lot of movement, trying to bring confusion and chaos to the quarterback. And offensively, his team has done an excellent job with a very heady quarterback. Corey Briggs is the gridiron equivalent to basketball's gym rat. He's a football junkie. He's been around the game his entire life. His dad is the head coach at Susquehanna University. Corey used to be the ball boy for this team. He's on his way to Harvard. He's got some weapons at his disposal, and he has put together a solid season with 30 touchdown passes this year.
He's got an outstanding wide receiver to throw to in Ryan Kaiser, who will be a walk-on at Penn State. He's got a great running back as well behind him in Kyle Reinert. As for the other side of things, nobody knows the struggles of the PIAA playoffs better than what Manheim Central does. It was a decade earlier, throughout the 90s, that Manheim Central was knocking the door, finally cracking through in 2003. And nobody knows it better than the guy who runs the ship. He's been through it all.
Mike Williams has over 300 wins in his 29 seasons as the head coach. He has that state title. He has 16 District 3 titles to his credit, so he knows what it's like to play winning football. He's made a change in his offensive philosophy in the last couple of years. He's moved away from the veer, which was so successful for his program for so many years, and now they're in the spread option offense, and man, does he have a good one running the show at quarterback. Justin Gorman became the starter in Week 9 last year because of an injury. He has continued to develop. Mike Williams says this kid's decision-making over the last 5 or 6 weeks has been tremendous. A dual threat. Look at those numbers. He's thrown for better than 2,000 yards. He's rushed for better than 1,000. Combined 39 touchdowns. How he reads all that motion and the blitzes on the defense for Selinsgrove tonight is going to be a huge key for the success of Manheim Central.
And nobody's a bigger fan of Justin Gorman than Dave Hess, the guy who's going to try to figure out a way to slow him down tonight. We've talked about Manheim Central. A lot of people have talked about this Manheim Central team and how it compares to others, and this is the best one yet. Well, most people will say that the 2003 one that won a state championship, and that's what Mike Williams says. When we win a gold medal like 2003 did, then we'll talk about it. It was a memorable game back in 2003, and we'll see a little bit of that footage. And this is not a precursor, we hope, of things to come here in Hershey. It was the Snowball, as it has become affectionately known around the state of Pennsylvania. Manheim Central winning the game on a blocked extra point at the end of overtime to ultimately win the game. The guy that catches the touchdown pass to put Manheim Central up to go then back and block the extra point after Pine Richland scores what appeared to be the tying touchdown. Sean Wilt caught the touchdown pass and then comes through and blocks the extra point, and Manheim Central celebrates in the snow here in 2003. Again, PCN had a contest earlier this year for you, the fans around the state of Pennsylvania, to vote for the best championship game ever played. Without a doubt, this one was the one that most people point to as the best of some great football games to be played here at Hershey Park Stadium over the course of time, and Manheim Central's 2003 win was certainly one for the ages. They hope that history repeats themselves. Selinsgrove has other ideas.
You're exactly right. And you listen to some of the comments from the coaches this week, and especially Mike Williams from Manheim Central. He says this is a great matchup. You have the two best teams, as he called them, in AAA, meeting here both at 15-0. On paper, this appears to be a tremendous matchup between these two teams. Now they have to go out there between the lines and try and make that happen here tonight. They have just been so outstanding from week one to right now.
And those of you who like to compare the East versus the West, good luck in this one. Selinsgrove coming out of the east, Manheim Central coming out of the west. Well, take a look at the map. Manheim Central in Lancaster County, Selinsgrove obviously on the Susquehanna River. They clearly are further west than is Manheim Central, but that's the way things transpire here. Selinsgrove ultimately getting here by beating the last year's runner-up in Archbishop Wood. Manheim Central defeating West Allegheny to get to the state championship. The captains are making their way to midfield, and we will head down, get the coin toss, find out who will get the football, the national anthem, and kickoff as the AAA matchup between Manheim Central and Selinsgrove is about to begin.
The visiting team will call the toss. Number 5 is going to call the toss. What's your call, heads or tails? Heads. Okay. It is a head. Okay, Selinsgrove wins the toss.
We want to defer.
Selinsgrove's won the toss. They'll defer. Manheim's going to take the ball. Selinsgrove's going to defend the scoreboard. Okay, put your backs there. Manheim here. Manheim will receive the first half kickoff. Good luck, guys.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, prior to kickoff, we ask you please rise as we honor the United States of America. Salute its leaders and members of the armed forces with the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, to be sung tonight by Ashley Hashinger, Isaac Hassinger, Dexter Ehrenzeller, and Andrew Jones from East Juniata High School. Ladies and gentlemen, we present with pride our national anthem.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Manheim Central and Selinsgrove both at 15-0. The Barons, the champions from District 3, as you see in the Lancaster 11 League. And as we said, Selinsgrove, the champions from the Heartland Conference and the District 4 champions as well, making their way here to Hershey. Selinsgrove will be the visitor. They will be in the white uniforms. And it's simply a matter of alternating, but it's appropriate, I suppose, that Manheim Central is the home team. As Steve said in our open, the Barons have won 16 District 3 championships, played here at Hershey Park Stadium. There is no need in Manheim to put Hershey on the GPS.
They know the way, no question about it.
Been here several times, to say the least. 16 district championships. That's how many they've won. That's not necessarily how many they've played for, including being the runner-up a year ago. They beat Susquehanna Township this year 35-29 to claim that 16th District 3 championship. And, of course, now looking for this their third trip here to the state finals. As we said, they won it in 2003. In the opposite end of the spectrum from Mike Williams and company in 2004. They got thumped by Thomas Jefferson the next year at 56-20, the final score in that game. In Selinsgrove, the Seals looking for their first ever state championship. And the opening kickoff will be returned by the Barons. That'll be actually that's Dan Trafford across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. And the Barons will start 1st and 10, and here is the lineup for Manheim Central. Up front, it's a big front five, averaging 270 across the front five, with the big guys at the guard spots, and Rob Laporte at 310 and Joe Weaver at 310 as well. The four wide receivers in the spread set: Royer, Hart, Ebersol, and Trafford, and 1,500 plus on the season rushing the football in Joe Gruber, an outstanding back beside Gorman. Again, he will be in the shotgun and running a spread offense, and Gorman on the keeper on the first play is in trouble in his own backfield, and he will go down maybe to the line of scrimmage, but probably a yard behind it. As we look at the defense for the Seals, again, it's a 3-5 defense. Casey Kantz, John Trago, and Spencer Myers across the front three, and then those linebackers that are everywhere: Dylan Elliott and Wenrick outside, Dakota Wolf, Seth Lauber, and Brian Troutman across the middle. Cameron Benner and Dan Bossinger are the corners, with a first-team All-Stater from a year ago in Ryan Kaiser as the free safety. Loss of about a half a yard. We'll call it second down and about 10 and a half coming up now for the Barons at the 23-yard line, and penalty flags on the snap.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Our referee is Andrew Keenan. The umpire is Randy Ross. The linesman is Christopher Bush. Line judge is Mike Nolan. The field judge is William Smith. The side judge, Edward Burke. And the back judge is Joseph Kelly out of District 1. As Manheim Central gets off to a bit of a sluggish start as they get called for a penalty. Put them now in a second down and 15. Back at the 18-yard line. Opening series of the football game. Gorman, as he will be throughout this game, in the shotgun. Hands off this time to his back in the backfield, Gorman, who takes it out to about the 25-yard line and picks up 7.
This is a perfect scenario for the Selinsgrove defense, because they will bring pressure and blitzes from anywhere if you're in a long yardage situation. But they go with Gruber straight ahead, and he is able to get back just beyond the original line of scrimmage. So Manheim Central still has a 3rd and long here. Now this is where Gorman has to figure out exactly where the pressure is coming from and who might be his hot receiver.
It's about, as Steve said, closer to about 3rd and 9 coming up for the Barons, shy of the 25-yard line, and Gorman wants to throw for the first time, and he's got an open receiver. And making the catch and finding daylight is Casey Ebersol. Ebersol dancing his way, but only gets to the 30 as the pursuit ultimately gets to him. Led by Ryan Kaiser, as I said, a first-team All-Stater at free safety a year ago, makes the tackle at the 31-yard line.
Gets rid of it quickly before the pressure can get there. Then you hope that Ebersol can make a move or two. He got by one tackler but couldn't beat the second one, so Manheim Central will have to punt this one away.
The Barons will punt with Dan Trafford taking care of that. The return men will be Ryan Kaiser, number 5, and number 28, Kyle Reinert. And it's Kaiser who lets it bounce inside the 35 down to about the 32-yard line. So the defense for Selinsgrove comes up with the stand to start after a 36-yard punt for Manheim Central. The Seals will be on offense with under the direction of their quarterback, Corey Briggs, up front protecting him. Spencer Myers and Anthony Houck are the tackles. Logan Hetherington and Brett Ammerman and John Trago complete that front 5. The tight end is Kyle Schuck. The wide receivers are Ryan Kaiser and Matt Ruby. Matt Wenrick is the Bronco Bull at the fullback at 225 pounds, and Kyle Reinert 1,200 plus yards as a running back. As the the Seals start 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. And it's Wenrick who gets the call. And Wenrick will take it out to about the 40-yard line as we introduce you to the defense for Manheim Central. It's a 3-4 defensive alignment for the Barons. Dan Hanselman and John Fair are the ends, with Eric Drake in the middle. The outside backers, Lowen Johnson and the aforementioned Dakota Royer. Inside, it's Brett Barber and Joe Gruber. The corners are Derek Hart and Casey Ebersol. And the safeties, Joe Brubaker and Dan Trafford. As Selinsgrove picks up 5 on the carry by Wenrick, to put them in a 2nd and 5 at the 39-yard line. It'll be Wenrick again who gets the call, and the interior of Manheim Central's defense says maybe not.
That's Lowen Johnson coming off that outside linebacker position. Number 4, a senior who is a tremendous pass rusher, 6.5 sacks. This time playing the run as they go back to Wenrick for a second straight time. And that interior of the defensive line able to shut him down.
Matt Wenrick with carry number 49 and 50 on the season, the first two. He is predominantly a blocking fullback for Reinert, who has carried it for just shy of 1,200 yards in a season, 1,199 to be exact. On the year, he has yet to touch the football. Corey Briggs under center. The backs behind him will split. Wenrick is 33 and Reinhardt is 28. Matt Ruby goes in motion left side to right, and that's the direction that Briggs wants to roll. Looking for a little dump-off pass, and it's intercepted, picked off by the Barons. Ebersol on the pickoff for Manheim Central. Casey Ebersol with his 7th pick of the year.
Throwing for Kaiser. And just off the mark for Briggs, only his 9th interception thrown this season. And a big turnover created by the Manheim Central defense. A little roll here to stay away from pressure, throwing on the run. Kaiser was the intended receiver. He came inside. The throw was to the outside. Ebersol actually made a very nice catch to pick that one off.
So Gorman now starts his offense at the 49-yard line, and he'll keep it this time as he fakes the handoff to Gruber and keeps it himself and picks up about 2 to the 47-yard line. 2nd down and 8 coming up from Manheim Central.
Well, in the quarterfinals in the first half against Allentown Central Catholic, Selinsgrove had a huge problem stopping the Vikings quarterback Brendan Nosovich. He had over 130 yards rushing in the first half. They made the adjustments at halftime, and he didn't do a whole lot in the 3rd and 4th quarters. Gorman has not had a whole lot of success here early on when he's tried to carry the football, but he is very dangerous.
Now bring an extra back in the backfield as Ebersol checks out, and there's 2 backs in the backfield now with Gorman. With Gruber behind him, and Gruber will get the handoff with a lead blocker out in front. Fighting for daylight, gets to about the 45-yard line. The extra blocker was Lowen Johnson, who starts at linebacker, comes in as an extra blocker out in front of Gruber. And Gruber picks up enough yardage to take it inside the 46, just shy of the 45-yard line. He's going to bring up 3rd down and about 6, maybe 7 for the Barons.
Numbers on Gruber at 210 pounds. When he gets going, he's very difficult to bring down. Wenrick with another nice job. He is an excellent two-way player, is Wenrick, number 33 for Selinsgrove.
And now Gruber will slide over and go into a slot on the left side. 3 receivers to Gorman's left and 2 to his right. Naked backfield for senior quarterback Justin Gormer. Throws it across the middle. It's tipped at the line of scrimmage and swatted away by that nose guard John Trago, getting his hands on the football.
If you can't get to the quarterback, you need to get the hands up as the ball is being released. And again, they looked over the middle short, but Trago, despite being double teamed, able to get that hand up, knock it down to bring up a 4th down.
And it appears that they will punt the football, although that not necessarily is the case. But there is Trafford dropping back the punt. And the return man, again, it's Ryan Kaiser and Kyle Reinert back to return for Manheim Central, as the Barons apparently cannot take advantage of it, assuming a punt. And Trafford will indeed punt the football. It's a high short kick, and Kaiser will call for a fair catch at the 15-yard line. 6:40 left to go in the AAA championship game. Selinsgrove has the football when we come back. First and 10 for the Selinsgrove Seals from their own 16-yard line. 6:41 left to go in the Class AAA Championship game's first quarter. We are scoreless as Corey Briggs looks to roll out, can't find an open receiver. He'll tuck it and run it, taking it out across the 20 to about the 21-yard line. A good solid 5-yard pickup for Corey Briggs on first down.
He's not a guy who runs a whole lot, but he made a very good decision there, especially coming off the pick on a very similar play where he was rolling out to his right, didn't chance it this time, decides to keep it. A rare interception for Briggs over the last 2 years, with that pick included now. 59 touchdowns, only 13 interceptions.
5 yards on the first down keeper puts him in a 2nd and 5. They'll line up with the I formation, 2 receivers to his left side, and Reinert will get the call for the first time in this football game, and he'll barrel his way out to about the 25-yard line to bring up a 3rd down and about 1 for Selinsgrove. Reinert with his first carry, his 149th of the year, and again putting him now over 1,200 yards on the season. He's rushed for 14 touchdowns. And a great compliment to Corey Briggs in throwing the football for over 2,000 yards.
Here's the guy to watch in the passing game. Ryan Kaiser will be a walk-on at Penn State, a preferred walk-on. He is most of, if not all, the receiving records at Selinsgrove High School.
And it's not the throw to Kaiser. Instead, they'll go to the ground game, and they'll just bull forward with a different back in there. Bryant Troutman in there as the extra back. And Troutman, the senior at 215 pounds, leads Selinsgrove to the game's first down. Right up the gut on 3rd and 1. They bull forward for the first down pickup to the 28-yard line.
Just his 20th carry of the season. Bit of a short yardage guy. 7 touchdowns on the ground for Troutman, and a big pickup there for the Seals.
Reinert back in there at the tailback spot behind Wenrick. Play action fake to him. Briggs is in trouble, and Briggs is fighting for his life to get back to the line of scrimmage as the Manheim Central Barons all over him, and they drop him at the 25-yard line, a loss of 3 on the play.
Well, Dakota Royer, outside linebacker on the left side, makes this play. He doesn't get the tackle, doesn't get the sack, but number 40 comes in there and forces the pressure and does an outstanding job of waiting till his teammates get there to put Briggs to the turf.
First sack of the football game is a 3-yard loss for the Seals, back to the 25-yard line. You're watching PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network. PCN is brought to your community by our cable partners across the state, serving more than 10 million Pennsylvanians and 3.3 million homes. From Philadelphia to Erie, Pittsburgh to the Poconos, PCN is Pennsylvania's neighborhood. Briggs wants to throw for Kaiser. It's well over his head and out of bounds. And suddenly Selinsgrove finds themselves now in a 3rd and 13.
It's always a tough throw for a right-handed quarterback to roll to your left and still be able to try and square yourself up toward your target. You're going away from Royer this time, which means you're going toward Lowen Johnson. Not much of a better situation for a quarterback. Johnson getting tangled up there with Royer, getting tangled up with Kyle Shuck, and just good defense all around by Manheim Central.
Manheim Central, Mike Williams going over the 300-win barrier this season, becoming the 3rd coach this year to go over 300, joining Jim Roth from Southern Columbia and Don Bailey from Forest Hills in that selective company of 10 coaches now with 300-plus wins in Pennsylvania high school football history. Here comes an option pitch to Reinert, and Manheim Central all over that as they shut that down in a hurry and force Selinsgrove into a 4th and long.
Nice job on this series by the Barons. 3rd and long, they go with the option. Briggs gets rid of it and just nowhere to go as the Barons swarming to the football, forcing a punt.
It's actually Cameron Benner who was in there at the tailback spot, and he's the one who got the toss and got dropped back at around the 26-yard line. So it's a 1-yard pickup for Benner, and on a 4th down and about 12, the punting unit for Selinsgrove comes out on the field for the first time, and that is Kyle Reinert, the tailback, who now becomes the punter. It's a low line drive kick. Joe Brubaker back there as the return man fields it and is hit out of bounds immediately at about the 35-yard line. And so the Manheim Central Barons, after the 40-yard punt, thanks to the good roll off the foot of Reinert, will now take over. 1st and 10 for Manheim Central in their 3rd offensive series. Here in this first quarter, 0-0 is the score. Manheim Central starts at its own 34-yard line.
And that tackle made by Dylan Elliott, number 23. No surprise there. He is always one of the first ones down the field on special teams for Selinsgrove.
In case you haven't heard the news, due to the impending snowstorm here coming through the state of Pennsylvania overnight, the AA game and the Quad A game tomorrow have been moved up. 10 a.m. for the AA game and the Quad A game to follow at 2 o'clock. Dakota Royer gets the football for the first time. And the Penn State-bound linebacker, who plays wide receiver in this spread offense for Manheim Central, gets the football out to about the 40-yard line, a pickup of 6.
He's such a dangerous receiver. 1 catch last week. It went for a 73-yard touchdown.
Deceptively fast for Dakota Royer. Outstanding. He was a defensive end last year in the scheme of things for Manheim Central. Now moved to what he will more than likely play at Penn State, which is the outside linebacker spot at 6'3", 220 pounds. He has Manheim Central now in a 2nd down and 4 as they'll hand off this time to Tyler Griffith in there in the backfield for the Barons. And he'll fight for maybe a yard, and that's it.
Spencer Myers, number 77, outstanding defensive lineman for this team. He'll head to Maryland to wrestle next year. He's got 7 sacks on the year, 3 fumble recoveries. He can be a really disruptive force along that defensive line.
Second-team All-Stater a year ago. He was the runner-up in the 215-pound class in AAA. His father, Todd, is the wrestling coach at Selinsgrove High School. And he right now forces the Barons into a 3rd down and 3 after making that tackle. Gorman fakes the handoff to Gruber, and he wants to keep it and finds daylight. And he is close to a 1st down and then went backwards. And thanks to the tackle of Selinsgrove's Cameron Benner, probably did not pick up a 1st down.
He had it, Bob. If he continues to go forward, even if he takes on the hit from Benner, he's probably going to get forward progress, but he decides to try to cut this ball to the outside even more, and Benner just gets off the block and makes a tremendous open field tackle to deny the 1st down.
So despite the long run by Gorman, he only ended up picking up a yard. And the Barons in a 4th and 2 will have Trafford come on to punt the football again. And there's the guy who made the tackle, Cameron Benner, back to return. But Trafford is going to keep it, and Trafford will pick up the 1st down. Pays for it as he's hit out of bounds by Seth Lover. But Dan Trafford on the keeper on the fake punt picks up the 1st down for the Barons out near midfield.
More and more teams at the high school and college level go to this punt formation where you're spread out a little bit more. You have 3 up men. You go to the rugby-style punt where you roll out, but it's also a read for the punter. If you see that you have a lane to the outside, you can take it yourself and try and get the 1st down. They only needed 2 yards there. That's a great decision by Trafford. There was nobody left out there on the right side, and he got that 1st down easily.
At the 48-yard line, and Gruber gets the call now, and Gruber gets Selinsgrove territory as Joe Gruber busts one up the middle inside the 45 down to about the 41, and what appears to be another Manheim Central 1st down.
And immediately the Barons pick up some momentum, getting that 1st down on the fake punt. They go to Gruber, such a hard runner inside between the tackles, straight ahead, and all of a sudden they're in Selinsgrove territory where moments ago it appeared they were going to kick the ball back to the Seals.
Joe Gruber, 6 foot, 210 pounds, tough, hard-nosed runner. And this time Gorman fakes the handoff to him, keeps it himself, and pays for it. 3 Seals around him, led by Spencer Myers to drop him.
Myers, what a player inside. 6'4", 230. They've done an excellent job thus far against Gorman. And again, to me, that's the big matchup, how Gorman can respond to all the different looks he's going to see and make the right decisions against this 3-5 blitzing defense. And so far, the Seals in that particular matchup have clearly had the advantage.
Brian Troutman also there to help out Myers on the tackle on a 1-yard loss for Gorman. 2nd down and 11 now for the Barons. 3 receivers to the left for Gorman, 1 to his right. He's looking across the middle and looking to go deep, and the pass is knocked away. Ryan Kaiser there to knock it away. The intended target was Derek Hart, but the good play by the free safety to swat it away.
All-Stater last year, and Mike Williams said, look, we're going to take some shots down the middle. Most teams won't do that because Kaiser is so good defensively at free safety. In fact, we haven't seen teams do that, but we're going to try and take a shot deep down the field and see if we can get something going. They had an open receiver. Kaiser never saw the football, but got the hand up, avoided the contact, and was able to knock it away. That's why you're All-State. You can break up a pass without even seeing it.
Absolutely. It's also because you're a wide receiver and you know what to do, and that is to get your hand where his hands are, because that's where the football's got to come. And that's what Kaiser did. Here comes a blitz from the Seals on 3rd and 11. Gorman's in trouble, and he's going down again. Actually, he did get rid of the football, but he's going to be well shy of the 1st down as Trafford makes the catch. Gorman just got rid of it before he hit the deck, and Trafford makes the catch out close to the original line of scrimmage. At the end of 1 quarter of play, the Class AAA championship game, 15-0 Selinsgrove and 15-0 Manheim Central. We are scoreless.
They just bring the heat play after play, and it's up to a quarterback to try and figure out the area that might be open, but you have to get rid of the ball so quickly that you can't make a long pass. So when you're in a 3rd and long situation, you have to hope that your receiver can somehow make a move or 2 and get some space downfield. Look, Gorman, he's got 2 guys closing in quickly, has to get rid of the football, but he's only throwing it 5-6 yards down the field. Look, right there, they're filling in. Trafford, as soon as he catches the ball, goes down.
Seth Loeffler, the middle linebacker there to hit him, 6'2", 245 pounds, and just a junior is Seth Loeffler. A middle of Dave Hess calls controlled chaos. Speaking of controlled chaos, there'll be some of that in Punxsutawney coming up at the beginning of February, and PCN will be there. as Groundhog Day will be shown live here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network February 2nd here on PCN. So now on 4th down and about 9 from the Selinsgrove 40-yard line. Again, Dan Trafford will drop back. We assume to punt, although he carried it the last time on 4th and 2 and picked up a first down. That's how Manheim Central was able to keep this drive alive and pick up what ultimately became their first down in this game, and only one of 2 so far for the Barons. And Trafford will punt. Kaiser waits for a possible return. Trafford again waits and then does indeed kick the football. And Kaiser will let it bounce over his head and roll into the end zone. And so Selinsgrove will get it at the 20-yard line as the 40-yard punt for Trafford rolls into the end zone. And Selinsgrove on offense for their 3rd series, having just 1 first down so far.
Barons had a chance to down that ball inside the 5-yard line, but players were looking up for the punt, not realizing it was a line drive. And when it hit the turf, it just skipped right by them and rolled into the end zone for the touchback.
Dave Hess took over for Bill Scott, who was the head coach at Selinsgrove for 26 years, won 267 games at Selinsgrove. Dave Hess was his longtime defensive coordinator, and now in his 2nd season, a mere 28-2 as a head coach. As the running game for Selinsgrove trying to get on track, Kyle Reinert, who's been in and out of the mix. He's been nursing an ankle injury. I don't know if Kyle Reinert's ankle injury in the cold weather has been acting up a little bit. He has not been out there on a consistent basis. He does get the call on this play and picks up about 3.
28-2 for Dave Hess, 15-0 this season as the Seals finally make their way to Hershey for a state championship. And like Manheim Central, it's a program that's been building and building, and now they've finally broken through.
Wenrick gets the call, and Reinert does look to be limping out there on the field. We'll try to see if we can keep an eye on number 28, Kyle Reinert, for Selinsgrove. He just doesn't look like he is completely healthy out there as Wenrick picks up a yard or 2 across the 25 to the 26.
Now, Bob, you asked Mike Williams before the game if you see a little bit of yourself in this Selinsgrove team, and you weren't necessarily talking X's and O's. It's just the way the program's been built and the way you've been able to get this success. And Mike Williams said, yeah, it's very similar to the way things have gone for the two of us. He said they're at the pinnacle of their program right now.
Absolutely. They're about 10 years behind exactly what Manheim Central was doing. Manheim Central had the same struggles that Selinsgrove had, and that was to crack through and finally get to the state championship. It was the Barons who were having those troubles in the 90s, and here in the 2000s, it has been Selinsgrove. Seals lost in the PIAA quarterfinal in 2004 to Thomas Jefferson, in 05 to Franklin Regional, 06 and 07 to Thomas Jefferson, and then a year ago in the 2008, they lost in the semifinals to Archbishop Wood. Briggs throws the football, but a penalty flag thrown on the snap. And so that will wipe that play out.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Backs the Seals up 5 yards, puts them in a 3rd down and about 9 now coming up.
And Bob, what's kind of neat about this whole deal is they're going to play each other the next 2 years in week 3 and some early season tests in non-league play for these two teams.
It's funny because the other similarity for these two teams is that the outsiders have always criticized their schedules a little bit. So perhaps taking a page out of that book, they've decided to play one another in order to upgrade their schedules even more. Manheim Central out of Section 2 of the Lancaster Lebanon League, and Selinsgrove calls the Heartland Conference their home. Briggs wants to throw for it. It's a little bit too high, and Kaiser can't get up high enough to make the catch. And it's 4th down yet again for the Selinsgrove Seals.
Kaiser is a guy who can make some acrobatic catches. He has great hands, but this one just a little bit too high for him. He's going to take a big hit. So does the quarterback as Briggs gets knocked down as well. Kaiser going up for it. He gets a shot from behind. And 4th down now for the Seals. Weren't sure how this was going to go. I mean, you have two offenses that can be very explosive, two defenses who you can't overlook either.
So it's 4th down and 9, and the Seals will punt the football. Reinert is the punter, and is a low line drive kick. Barely gets it over the line of scrimmage. And Manheim Central will get good field position once again and test out that Selinsgrove defense starting from the 46-yard line after just a 25-yard punt.
You know, the field in favor of Manheim Central, but they've had a tough time navigating this defense. Gorman thought he was going to get a first down here. Benner with a nice open field tackle, then Kaiser down the middle with an outstanding pass breakup. And Gorman has just had people in his face all game long, whether he's running the football or trying to pass the football downfield.
It's a 3-5 defensive alignment. I got to tell you, watching the game film of Selinsgrove, it looks like there's 15 linebackers out there, not 5.
And they've actually been kind of calm in all their pre-snap movements so far tonight.
Yeah, they're changing that up right now. Now the dancing's starting to go in and out, whether they're coming with a blitz or whether they're dropping back. And they drop back, and they just hand it off to Gruber, and he just runs into the middle of that line. And there's Spencer Myers again with another tackle for Selinsgrove.
Now, we talked to Dave Hess before the game, and he used to be the defensive coordinator. It's a scheme he designs on the beach in Ocean City, Maryland in the summer of 2004. And he said they have 90 plays defensively, and each guy has a wristband with 3 layers of plays. So they know exactly what they're doing here when the call comes in from the sideline. And so far, they're doing it quite well.
2nd down and 10 as Myers again stacks up the middle. Those 3 down linemen getting their job done as well, as Gorman's just going to flip this one out and get some space for someone to pick up some yardage. It's Trafford again, who finds a little bit of daylight and takes it down to about the 40-yard line.
But Coach Hess was very concerned about Mike Williams. Here's a guy who's won a state title, 300 games in 29 years. He called him a master of X's and O's, and he said preparing for this Manheim spread option is a nightmare. So far, their preparations have paid off. The defense has been outstanding.
Yeah, this is clearly a mutual admiration society between these two coaches, and it's not just fluff for a state championship. They really do respect how these two teams play and how good they really are. Wants to throw again, does Gorman, and this time the pass is good for a first down pickup as the Barons move the chains inside to about the 31-yard line, and that's Ebersol again on the catch for Manheim Central.
Bob, when you ran through the offensive starters for Manheim Central, you talked about how big they are across the offensive line, a couple of 300-plus pound guards. They finally gave Gorman some time to throw. The 3 down linemen for Selinsgrove that time were basically shoulder to shoulder. They were able to get no pressure. Gorman had the time, and he found Ebersol for a first down.
To the 31-yard line, the Barons picking up their 3rd first down of this first half. Gorman wants to throw, but a penalty flag again on the snap is going to stop him.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So the Barons shooting themselves in the foot a little bit, moving it back to the 36 and into a 1st and 15. With now 8:46 left to go in the first half. Manheim Central and Selinsgrove scoreless. Gorman again looking to throw deep. He's got an open receiver. Trafford makes the catch, and Trafford will find the end zone. Corrected, it was Derek Hart who made the catch. It was the 6'5" Derek Hart who made the catch inside the 5 and gets it home for the end zone. Manheim Central draws first blood on a 36-yard completion. Justin Gorman to his big 6'5" receiver, Derek Hart, for 6 points.
Runs a deep post pattern, gets inside the corner, and Kaiser was not able to get over the top and give help. That's a well-thrown ball by Gorman off a beautiful route run by Hart.
6 touchdown pass receiving on the season for Derek Hart. 20th throwing for a score for Gorman. And on to attempt the extra point is Taylor Groff. And his kick is up and good. With 8 minutes and 27 seconds left to go in the first half. Manheim Central on top first. 7-0 Barons when we return on PCN.
Today's championship is made possible through a generous gift from Jeff and Jan Weinmiller. Today's championship is being brought to you in part by Sloan's Pharmacy, located in Manheim, Elizabethtown, Mount Joy, and Mountville. Sloan's Pharmacy is much more than your average chain pharmacy. Stop by and see how 70 years of business can serve you. This PIAA Sports Championship on PCN is underwritten by the Association of Pennsylvania State College and University Faculties. Every day, ABSCUF faculty and coaches of the 14 state system universities are making the difference in the lives of students. Committed, dedicated. That's ABSCUF, Pennsylvania's own state system faculty.
And 1 and 2 and 1
At PenTeleData, our computer audit team trains your entire company to detect and eliminate threats to the data network. Because in this dangerous world...
Okay, team, let's show them how we take care of spyware.
You need more than just standard virus software to stay protected. You need help from the experts.
Whatever you want, you get.
Call today for your network audit, firewall, and system setup. We are PenTeleData.
7-0 Manheim Central as Selinsgrove, who has just one first down in this first half, trying to offset the touchdown pass from Justin Gorman to Derek Hart, 36 yards on the hookup. As the Manheim Central Barons get on top first in this contest of unbeatens, 15-0 for the AAA championship, Selinsgrove and Manheim Central. 4 plays and 46 yards on the drive for Manheim Central. Taylor Groff has it teed up. Cameron Benner and Kyle Reinert are the return men for Selinsgrove. But that is Kaiser back there right now. Kaiser from his own goal line across the 15-20. 25 breaks a tackle and gets it out across the 30-yard line as we see what got Manheim Central on the scoreboard first.
Well, Gorman finally getting some things going here. Swings one out to Trafford, trying to avoid the pressure. And then the protection started to be pretty good to Eversole, and then just a strike to Derek Hart on the deep post. 36 yards for the touchdown. Gorman had a great series there throwing the football for the Barons.
Brian Troutman now in there at the fullback spot for Selinsgrove, starting from the 31-yard line. And it's Troutman who gets the call. And Troutman will bust it up the middle for about 2, maybe 3 yards to the 33-yard line, making it about 2nd down and 8 coming up for the Seals. Second carry of the game for Brian Troutman. Kyle Reinert is back out there. And there you see why Troutman is in there at the fullback spot as Wenrick is shaken up.
That's a big loss on both sides of the football. He's a bruising player, very physical, great lead blocker, and part of that tremendous 3-5 defense for the Seals.
So again, Reinert looked to be shaken up a little bit. Now Wenrick is definitely shaken up, so Briggs wants to throw for it on 2nd down. Finds an open target. Who else but Ryan Kaiser makes the catch. Good, should be good for a Seals first down, and it is out to the 44-yard line. 1st and 10 for Selinsgrove on their first passing first down.
58th catch of the year for Kaiser. He's got over 1,100 yards now. It's a well-delivered ball by Briggs. Just a quick out. Kaiser stops on the pattern, turns, ball's already on its way, and he was able to haul that one in easily.
First completion. It's been a rough start to the game for Corey Briggs. Threw an interception on his first pass, and then the next 2 incomplete, so he's now 1 for 4 with that 11-yard completion. They'll go back to the ground game. Reinert finds daylight out to midfield and into Manheim Central territory before Kyle Reinert is finally brought down at about the Baron 49-yard line.
Looked pretty healthy there. There was not much of a crease to cut this one upfield. Reinert found it and got through the hole rather quickly. Good pickup on first down. He's going to head off to his left and cuts it to the inside, avoiding the tackle. And a very nice read by Kyle Reinert.
It's amazing what good blocking in open space will do to a sore ankle.
He felt much better as he saw that hole.
2nd down and 3 after the 7-yard pickup for Reinert. Troutman again is the fullback in the eye. Play action fake. Briggs wants to throw for it. He'll swing it out, and the pass is caught. And it's Troutman, the fullback, who makes the catch. Will pick up another first down for the Seals out to the 45-yard line.
Good job thus far by the Seals trying to answer that touchdown by the Barons. You don't need to get it all back on one shot, just picking their way down the field here. A good mix of the run and the pass. Little play action this time. Briggs, very athletic, able to throw on the run. Troutman makes the catch. They'll move the sticks once again.
4 yards they picked up. They needed 3, so the chains move one more time for the Seals with 6:20 left to go in the first half. Manheim Central on top 7-0. Selinsgrove trying to change that. Here comes Reinert again. gets some daylight again on a good delayed handoff, and Reinhardt finds daylight and takes it inside the 40 down to about the 37-yard line.
Maybe not the biggest guy on the field at 5'9", 177 pounds, but he broke a tackle inside and turned what could have been a gain of a yard or two into a good pickup of 8. But just watching him, Bob, he still appears to be favoring that ankle a little bit and appeared to have a little grimace on his face as he headed back to the huddle.
And you really see it more than anything on that last punt of his, where you could tell he really just doesn't feel comfortable back there, and clearly playing in some pain. 2nd down and 2, he stays out there. But Troutman is the fullback, a receiver split each way, and they want to go for Kaiser again, who had a step on the defense. But the pass from Briggs a little bit out of the reach, down at the 15-yard line. Kaiser tried to make the diving catch, but could not hold on.
He is such an acrobatic player that you feel when he gets his hand on the football, he's going to catch it, whether it's out of his reach or not. And a great effort down that right side. And another ball, not a whole lot of space to get that in there between a couple of defenders, and Briggs just a little bit out of Kaiser's reach.
I asked Mike Williams if you could compare Ryan Kaiser to his former great wide receiver, Graham Zug, who of course is at Penn State. They both, Zug walked on at Penn State and obviously has earned a scholarship. Kaiser looking to do the same thing, and he said it's a pretty good comparison. They are a lot alike, but Kaiser is a much better defensive player than Graham Zug was, which is why Graham Zug's a wide receiver at Penn State. Ryan Kaiser probably will play the safety position. The Seals go back to the ground game. Troutman picks up the 1st down. They'll move the chains for the 3rd time in this series.
What a tough-nosed runner he is in those short yardage situations. Able to pick it up, and they'll keep going here, trying to tie this one up.
Picks up 3 yards as Reinhardt, as you saw, came out before that play. Cameron Benner back in there at the tailback spot. So it's Troutman at fullback, Benner at tailback. They play action fake, and Briggs wants to throw again. Has an open target, and the pass is caught. It's Shuck on the reception. Kyle Shuck, the tight end, 220-pounder, gets bumped out of bounds at about the 21-yard line.
Well, Shuck, his brother Ryan, walk on at Ohio State. Both tight ends, and here he just gets rid of Royer. They were engaged at the snap of the football. Royer comes in, he supplies the pressure, but that allows Shuck to be open in the flat. And once he catches the ball, he turns upfield and picks up big yardage for Selinsgrove.
Shuck athletic enough that when the Seals go to a 3-receiver set, he splits out as one of the wide receivers at 220 pounds. He picks up 12 there. 1st and 10 as the Seals drive continues. Their 4th first down in this drive. Briggs wants to throw it. No, he's going to run with it. And he won't get much as he's hit immediately. Manheim Central easily equal to the challenge. We talked about Corey Briggs and Selinsgrove with Selinsgrove head coach Dave Hess.
He's actually an extension of our offensive coordinator, Mike Bowman. Those two guys are, they're like blood brothers. They work together every day. I leave that completely to Mike. And Mike, actually, Corey really is like an extension of Mike. They're on the same page. Mike's up top, and he's got the headphones on. He's calling everything through us, and they are always on the same page. They're looking at the defense. They're reading things together, and it's a great thing.
And the connection with Corey Briggs and his father, Steve Briggs, the head coach at Susquehanna, gets a little bit more entrenched with that because the guy they made reference to, Mike Bowman, you see there in the white hat calling the plays for Selinsgrove, was a quarterback at Susquehanna. So clearly that page and the connection with Susquehanna and Mike Bowman and Corey Briggs and his father, Steve Briggs, the head coach, runs very deep. He misfires on that particular pass, however, to looking for Ruby. So it's now a 3rd down and 10 coming up for the Seals at the 22-yard line. Briggs again wants to throw for it, looking lofty and in the end zone towards Kaiser, but great defense by Hart and Ebersol. Double covered downfield was Kaiser, and the pass is incomplete.
Well, Briggs is a guy who's not afraid to throw it up for grabs. He'll go into double coverage, and he does it here with Ebersol and Hart blanketing Kaiser. And you just hope a guy like Ryan Kaiser can make a play for you, but the secondary for Manheim Central that time was equal to the task.
So now an interesting call coming up for the Seals. They find themselves in a 4th and 10. Trailing 7-0, 4:15 left to go in the first half. Line of scrimmage is the 22. You're looking at a 39-yard field goal attempt. And so the offense will stay out there for Selinsgrove. With Briggs now going to the shotgun. They send Troutman in motion right side to left. Briggs will roll that way and throw that way. Looking for Kaiser, who's well covered, incomplete.
Well, they have him blanketed. one under, one over, making sure Kaiser is not going to beat them. And the Manheim defense bending there just a little bit, but when it had to, it comes up with some very good plays to turn the ball over. Briggs rolling to his left this time, and Kaiser is just bracketed in a very small window to try and get that ball in, and Briggs was unable to do so.
Trafford had him underneath, Ebersol had him behind, and it's an incomplete pass. And Manheim Central will take over on downs, 1st and 10 for the Barons at their own 22-yard line with 4:09 now left to go in the first half. And a whistle and penalty flag on the snap, or before the snap. And a timeout actually called, I believe, by Selinsgrove. So the Seals will burn their first timeout.
Only 10 on the field for the Seals. Not a good matchup.
Tough enough to stop Manheim Central and Justin Gorman with 11 out there.
We talked about that defense for Dave Hess and the 90 plays and the 3 layers of plays on that wristband. And he said a lot of the stuff we do is just window dressing. Guys moving around, just trying to confuse the quarterback. They know where they're supposed to be. They're responsible for a gap, but they're going to try and confuse the guy taking the ball. But all that movement doesn't necessarily mean a thing. They know where they're supposed to be, and they can't get away from that.
I asked whether or not it had anything to do with freelancing, and he said there is no freelancing. As you see, the Pennsylvania Cable Network will present live coverage from the Pennsylvania Farm Show beginning January 9th, coming your way here on PCN. But getting back to that defense and Dave Hess, it's not, they don't get a chance to freelance. It may look like they're coming from all, but they have a designed path in which they're going. And he called it a great description of it. It was organized chaos.
You'll see a guy 1 down lineman, then they'll have 2 down linemen, they'll pop up, and then there's 3 down linemen, but it's all predicated on where they're supposed to be based on that call.
And then they shift out of it. At one point they were down with 5 down linemen in that particular, but then they shift out of it, and they will go to the ground game, will Manheim Central and Joe Gruber. And he'll take it to the 25-yard line, picks up 3 yards on first down.
But what's interesting is you talk to Mike Williams, and it's not a defense you see every day, a 3-5, and you said, have you seen this? He goes, yeah, we've seen it a few times already this year. So it's not a surprise to them that maybe all the activity and the movement is something that Gorman's going to have to get used to, but they've seen this base defense several times.
There are a lot of high school football teams that have gone to that 3-5 just because of the type of personnel they get. You get guys who are more suited to playing linebacker than down linemen. And it's a good defense for that. And now again, a penalty flag on the snap as Manheim Central going to get whistled again.
False start. Offense, 5-yard penalty, full second down.
Uncharacteristic of the Barons, committing their 3rd penalty here in the first half, backed them up 5 more yards to a 2nd and 12. Manheim Central certainly not contented, sitting on a 7-0 lead with 3:29 left to go. Barons still have all 3 of their timeouts left, but penalties backing them up now to the 20-yard line.
Dakota Royer on the sideline for this 2nd and long play. Hart, Ebersol, and Trafford are the receivers.
And it's Gruber who gets the call, breaks out of a pile to the 25, fights for more across the 30, picks up the first down all the way out to the 37-yard line.
He was stacked up in the backfield, nowhere to go, and just kept his feet moving, sliding out to the left. And as soon as he got around the corner, wow, there's a whole lot of green in front of me, and he is able to pick up a big first down for the Barons on a play that Selinsgrove had defended pretty well. Takes the handoff, absolutely nowhere to go. Slide to the left, get out of that ankle tackle, and off he is, making another nice move to pick up the first down.
17 yards on the carry for Gruber to the 37-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Barons. They'll go right back to the backfield and Gruber, and he'll fight to the 41-yard line this play.
Bob, it looks like Gorman is getting more and more comfortable working against this defense. It's the spread option. He can keep it. He can hand it to the fullback Gruber. He can pull it out and try and make a play with the passing game. He's got a lot of decisions to process in a very short amount of time. He did not have a great start to this game. He struggled quite a bit, especially running the football. But here in the second quarter, it's been a different thing.
2nd down and 7 now as Gruber picked up 3 to the 40-yard line. We'll bring 2 receivers to the left side and 1 to the right on this series. Again, going with a 3-receiver set as opposed to the normal 4. Gorman throwing downfield, looking for Trafford, and it's broken up. Great defensive play by Selinsgrove as Dylan Elliott got his hands on the football to force the incomplete pass.
Elliott, a linebacker, dropping back in coverage, and really Gorman just didn't have enough on this throw. He left it a little bit short, and that allowed Elliott to get back to make the play. Again, they're going down the middle. He looks off Kaiser. Kaiser headed the other direction. He comes back, trying to find Trafford. Again, the ball just short. That's an excellent play by Elliott.
3rd down and 7 now for the Barons at the 40-yard line. Big spot for Selinsgrove if they want to get the ball back to stop them here. Manheim Central with 2:02 left to go in the first half. Trying to pick up the first down and keep the drive alive. Gorman wants to throw for it. He's going to dump it off, and the pass is caught and bumped out of bounds. And Manheim Central are going to be shy of the first down at the 45-yard line.
It's a tremendous catch, I believe, by Ebersol, who maybe is shaken up on the sideline. The fact that he was able to catch that ball and stay in bounds.
It was Ebersol who made the catch. There you see him on the sidelines, a little bit slow to get back up. Again, bumped out of bounds after a hard hit at the 45-yard line. Let's see it.
Again, the pressure from Spencer Myers on Gorman. Ebersol with a great catch. Bausinger with the tackle, and it looks like Manheim Central is going to punt again.
4th and 1. Of course, they did go for it once before, with Trafford, the kicker, keeping it. He'll hold on to it, but this time he will punt the football. A low line drive kick. Kaiser calls for a fair catch at about his own 19-yard line. Selinsgrove, after the 36-yard punt, takes over. 1st and 10 for the Seals from their own 19. They've got 1:49 on the clock, and they've got 2 timeouts to work with.
Nice job by Dan Trafford, who averages 37 yards a kick. He is also a kick returner, a punt returner. He can run the football for you. He catches it for you. His 33 receptions, a tremendous all-around talent for the Barons.
And now that, as we said at the open, the quarterback and the coach on the field in Corey Briggs certainly comes into play. You want a guy who knows the game as well as Corey Briggs when you're running your 2-minute offense. Well, they're running their 1-minute and 49-second offense here. He wants to throw for it. The pass is behind Ruby, who almost makes a great one-handed catch, but could not hold on.
Now, they had 2 receivers in the same general area. Kaiser was also running a pattern basically right behind where Ruby was. Briggs, with a 1-step drop, fires it out there. And Ruby trying to reach behind him. I believe he was the intended receiver, but if Kaiser takes another step or 2, he's directly in the path of that football as well. We're lucky that wasn't intercepted after the tip.
Brett Barber, the inside linebacker, there to make the contact. So it's now a 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Seals. Manheim Central showing blitz. They pull back. Briggs wants to throw it short. Pass is caught this time by Ruby. Trying to fight to get out of bounds, and Manheim Central won't let him get there as the Barons make the tackle at about the 23-yard line.
Brett Barber coming over to make that play. Brings up a 3rd down and about 6 as the clock continues to run.
So Ruby gets his first catch, but again, a good job by Barber to not let him get out of bounds. And Selinsgrove not opting to call the timeout yet. They still have 2 left on now 3rd down and 6. Briggs again wants to throw short. The ball is tipped and incomplete. Kaiser the intended target. But the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it was Lowen Johnson who got his hands up and swatted the football.
What a tremendous player he is. The outside linebacker at 5'11", 200 pounds. The senior is very active, whether he's coming off the edge trying to rush the passer or that time back in coverage. Briggs looking left all the way. Johnson gets into that passing lane as they went for Kaiser again. That time he was open, but Johnson interrupted the play.
So Selinsgrove cannot pick up the first down. And Manheim Central will get the football back, and the Barons have all 3 of their timeouts left.
And they should get pretty good field position out of this.
And Reinert is the kicker. It's Brubaker and Trafford back to return. It's Trafford with the football going east to west and in trouble and finally run out of bounds after maybe a yard return, and that's it. Trafford even lost the helmet in the process. Selinsgrove would not let him turn the corner. And so Manheim Central will start with the football after the tackle on special teams by Dan Bausinger.
And Elliott again downfield on punt coverage. Selinsgrove very well coached in the special teams. They do a really good job both on returns and in coverage.
Manheim Central will start from its own 42-yard line. They've got 54 seconds left on the first half clock. All 3 timeouts remaining. Manheim Central on top 7-0. And a senior quarterback and extremely talented one in Justin Gorman to run the offense for the Barons. Low snap, no problem for Gorman. Wants to throw across the middle. The pass is dropped. Ebersol wide open, and he could not hold on at the 40-yard line.
Looked like maybe he took a peek to see where the defense was, to maybe where his running lanes might be. The throw was a tad behind him, but it's a ball as a receiver you definitely want to catch. And Ebersol perhaps took his eye off it just for a split second. See, it's behind him a little bit. Started to look away as that ball was coming in. That would have been a big gainer if he hangs on.
Ebersol comes back to the line of scrimmage in that 4-receiver set. 3 to the left, 1 to the right for Gorman on 2nd and 10. This time they'll go to the running game. Gruber gets the call. Gruber gets Selinsgrove territory, picking up a first down in the process at the 47-yard line. And Manheim Central will burn their first time out with 43 seconds left in the first half.
That's really the beauty of the spread offense, whether you're running an option or not.
Manheim Central, their first charge timeout.
Even if you get in these long situations, you have the 4 and 5 receiver sets where you have to spread out the defense. You hit that quick handoff to the fullback. There's not a whole lot left in the middle of the field because they are spread so thin, and Gruber right up the gut, able to pick up a first down into Selinsgrove territory.
6th time that the Barons have moved the chains here in the first half, as Gruber on his 8th carry picks up 16 yards to the Selinsgrove 42-yard line. Selinsgrove, the District 4 champion, beat Shikellamy in that district championship 44-7, winning their 6th straight District 4 title. We already talked about Manheim Central's success here in District 3, which is, of course, where Hershey Park Stadium is located in District 3. Barons winning their 16th District 3 title with a Susquehanna Township victory. There is those pads we talked about in the pages on the pads, on the wristbands for Selinsgrove, 3 pages deep. 1st and 10 now for the Barons. Gorman in trouble, flushed out of the pocket, rolls, looks downfield, and smartly throws it out of bounds well over the head of Dan Trafford.
Good decision. He was being chased from behind, double coverage on Trafford. We talked about it earlier, right-handed thrower rolling left. It's very difficult to make an accurate throw, and instead of trying to force one in there downfield, you still have 3 more downs. Just throw it away. Gets flushed out of the pocket. Spencer Myers again supplying the pressure from the backside. Gorman took a hit after making the throw. That was John Trago.
2nd down and 10 now for the Barons after the incomplete pass and stopping the clock at 37 seconds remaining. Gorman now in a naked backfield as Gruber slides up slot left. 3 receivers left side, 2 to the right. Gorman on the quarterback option keeper finds daylight to the 40. Going to get out of bounds as well and pick up the first down. Manheim Central on the move at the 36-yard line.
It's another great call. Again, you have them spread out with that 5 wide receiver set. Everybody thinks you're going to pass the football. 2nd and 10, late in the first half, run the design, quarterback draw. And how smart is Gorman? He not only gets the first down, but he gets the ball out of bounds to stop the clock with 30 seconds left. So they still have 2 timeouts remaining, and they're at a point now where they can take a shot toward the end zone with the arm Gorman has.
So Gorman picking up the first down for the Barons. Again, now they're 5th on the ground, 2 through the air for Manheim Central. More importantly, 30 seconds still left in this first half, and still 2 timeouts for Manheim Central. But Gorman's in trouble now, but he gets out of it. Justin Gorman somehow or another gets out of it, picks up some big yards as well inside the 30 down to the 28-yard line.
Well, Selinsgrove brought the house that time. They sold out multiple blitzes, and Gorman somehow escapes. Looking to his left, sees the pressure immediately, and then heads up field, makes a nice move right here. Unable to get out of bounds this time, but they're inside the 30, and they still have a timeout remaining.
They call the timeout their 2nd with 20 seconds left to go. We talked about Dave Hess and how he's seen now this, the 4th straight essentially spread offense, if you will, in this playoff run. Selinsgrove defeating Johnstown, Allentown Central Catholic, and Archbishop Wood, all of whom run some semblance of the spread offense. And asked him about Justin Gorman, he said, no offense to the other 3, but none of them run it like this kid does, and you see why. He is just a tough nut out there, tough to bring down, tough to seal in, no pun intended, as we look at the Seals. And then we look at some other guys that kind of look like Seals. As our truck here inside, our Service Electric television crew getting you all the shots here from Hershey Park Stadium here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
By the way, that's an Emmy Award-winning Service Electric crew working the state finals this weekend.
1st and 10 now for the Barons. Gorman this time throws it right into the chest of a defender. There for Selinsgrove to swat that one away was K.C. Kantz. Gorman clearly didn't put that one high enough, and he threw it right into the chest of Kantz.
KC almost had to knock this one down. Leaping, again, not able to get to the quarterback, try to disrupt that passing lane as best you can.
Well, it's now second down and about 3 coming up for the Barons at the 34-yard line. Excuse me, third down and about 3 coming up for the Barons. Gorman again in that naked backfield, 3 to the left, 2 to his right. He's in trouble again. Is he going to get out of trouble? He throws it out of bounds. The Seals looking for a penalty flag, and there it is.
No question, that's grounding, so they're going to have the penalty from the spot. They're going to lose 5 yards from there and a loss of down.
It'll be fourth down.
Potential grounding on the offense. 5-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. It's a loss of down. Fourth down.
So they're in just take a shot at the end zone mode right now.
Fourth down and 8 now after the 5-yard penalty is walked off. Actually, it's going to be more than 4th and 8. It'll be all the way back to the 44-yard. That's a 10-yard penalty.
Now, I guess, Bob, you could try to get the first down here. Either get it out of bounds, call your last timeout, and hope to maybe kick a field goal. But they have to get to the 26-yard line to keep this possession alive. So they're just going to go ahead and punt it away.
Trafford back there to punt. Again, he did fake one earlier, but not more than likely going to do that here. As Kaiser's back to return. Kaiser will let it hit and roll again into the end zone. And so Selinsgrove will get one last opportunity with 4 seconds left to play here in the first half. We'll see how the Seals choose to play it, whether they'll try to air one out, get it in the hands of Ryan Kaiser, and see if he can't make a play somehow or another, or if they'll just send Corey Briggs out there to take a knee and see what happens in half number 2.
A little surprised they didn't go for it there with 11 seconds left.
Just a little bit based on the fact that A, you have the lead, and B, even if Selinsgrove gets the ball back, if you don't pick up the first down, they're only going to have maybe 1, maybe 2 at best plays to try to put it in the end zone if you don't pick up the first down. But with a 7-0 lead, Mike Williams choosing to take the odds that he will have another half to play, and Selinsgrove will indeed take the knee, and Manheim Central will take the lead to the locker room. It is the Class AAA state championship game. Selinsgrove and Manheim Central, the Barons, thanks to a 36-yard touchdown pass of Justin Gorman to Derek Hart, have the lead at the break. Mike Zambelli and Jim Wills have our halftime coming your way here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Manheim Central 7-0 on top of Selinsgrove at the break. Back at Hershey Park Stadium, the AAA championship is at halftime, and it's 7-0. Manheim Central on top of Selinsgrove. Again, these two teams are unbeaten at 15-0. My name is Bob McCool. Alongside me, my broadcast partner is Steve Degler. And Steve, we weren't really sure how this game was going to be played out. Who was going to get the better of things? Both have good offenses. Both have good defenses. It's been a defensive struggle so far.
Like a baseball analogy, is it going to be pitching? Is it going to be hitting? Well, these two defenses have been tremendous. One scoring drive coming up for Manheim Central, and a lot of damage through the air by Justin Gorman. Finds Dan Trafford swinging it out to his left. Then he goes back to the left along the sideline to Ebersol, and then the touchdown comes from 36 yards out. He looks to his left, comes back to his right. Derek Hart in the seam on a post pattern. Well-thrown ball. That is the only score of the game for either side. Selinsgrove, not tremendous offensively. This is the only catch by Ryan Kaiser in the first half for 11 yards. Reinert has broken free a couple of times. Briggs has struggled a bit. He is not completing passes like he normally does. Goes to Troutman for short yardage. Reinert again, but they haven't been able to come up with that big play and really sustain a good long drive so far in this one tonight.
Manheim Central has gotten some contributions from a number of different players. We talked a lot about Gorman. We talked about Gruber and what he could do, and those guys have gotten the job done on the ground, but the way Gorman can pick apart a defense, as we saw in those highlights, has been a big part, and the reason why Manheim Central right now is on top.
He struggled a bit in the first quarter. Second quarter, he really settled in and helped the Barons move the ball very nicely.
We take a look at some numbers here at the first half. As you see, the Barons able to get things done very well in terms of balance. 70 on the ground, or 70 through the air, and 80 on the ground. Selinsgrove really just not getting on track so far on offense with just 73 total yards.
Basically 2-1 when you look at that total offense, 150 to 73. The Barons have hurt themselves with some minor penalties in the first half. The time of possession about even. Selinsgrove just needs to try to get something going here in a positive manner and get more than one first down at a time. They really have to start moving the ball down the field and try and get that equaling touchdown here in the third quarter.
They were able to move the ball a little bit in that second quarter, but never able to get the ball into the end zone. And obviously, that's where things are right now for Selinsgrove. Trying to get on track. Their quarterback, Corey Briggs, still hasn't found a touch, 4 for 13 in the first half.
And he's looking for Kaiser, and rightfully so. He's the record-setting receiver for Selinsgrove. He's done an excellent job catching the football all season long. Problem is, Manheim Central knows that. They've got two guys around him at all times, whether it's down the middle, if it's on the outside, there's a guy under, a guy over, and it's just been a very difficult time for Briggs to try to get his receiver open where he can deliver the ball in timely fashion.
And they've had a little bit of trouble in terms of personnel. Their backfield has been banged up, and that's part of the problem. Reinert, who we think has been having some difficulties with an ankle. Matt Wenrick, we know, we got a shot of him on the sidelines, banged up with an ankle injury as well. So that's also been part of it, that they haven't been able to get that running game on track on top of it.
And that's really hurting Briggs a little bit as well. When you take a look at some of the numbers in the first half, Briggs, who normally completes 55% of his passes, just 4 for 13, for 32 yards and an interception early in the game. He certainly will try and improve those numbers here in the second half and maybe start looking to guys other than Kaiser trying to get the ball downfield to them.
So the Seals defense has gotten the job done. It's the offense that so far has not been able to get on track for Selinsgrove under that young man who will be headed to Harvard next September, trying to get the Selinsgrove Seals untracked on offense. The defense for the Seals has been equal to the challenge. As you see, their big linebacker, Seth Lawver, leading the way in terms of tackles. Seth Lawver, a part of that 3-5 defensive alignment for Selinsgrove that has controlled things pretty well, with the exception of that 4-play drive for Manheim Central that got the Barons on top right now at 7-0.
It's a defense that only gives up 6 points a game. 89 points in 15 matchups, 6 shutouts. They've given up 7 tonight, but right now that's enough to have Manheim Central in front.
There's the guy we were talking about, Kyle Reinert, who's been banged up a little bit. He came out for a couple of plays. You could see that he just wasn't 100%, and you can see a guy who's run for 1,200 yards on the season, just 4 carries in the first half, uncharacteristic, and the 23 yards obviously is very uncharacteristic for Kyle Reinert. They'd love to see him get untracked in the second half and help out this offensive cause for the Seals. It trails 7-0 as we get set to start the third quarter. Justin Gorman and the Barons on top as we get set to start this second half.
And he really appeared to settle in during that second quarter. Remember, this guy only started for the first time in Week 9 last year, and he's been evolving throughout this season. He's starting to draw some Division I interest. He played a really good second quarter, 7 for 14 for 70 yards, and really threw the ball well. And one of the keys to help him, they block better up front, no question about it. But Joe Gruber did some damage on the ground as well, averaging 6.6 yards per pop in the first half, getting 8 carries. If they can still use him as a weapon and give Gorman some more time to survey back there, Manheim Central should be able to get some more points here in the second half.
And that's where we stand as we get ready to start this second half. I mentioned the other piece of the puzzle for Manheim Central, Lowen Johnson, who's done a little bit of everything tonight for the Barons, including, as you see, the 5 tackles. He's knocked down a pass as well. He's lined up on the offense as their running back. Manheim Central getting some contributions from a number of different players so far through the first 2 quarters of players. Here you see Kyle Reinert on the sidelines, as we talked about with the ankle injury. Now he's got a coat on the sideline, so we'll see if and what Kyle Reinert's piece of this second half is for Selinsgrove, fighting through some ankle problems. Again, Matt Wenrick, who's their starting fullback and outside linebacker, banged up and out of the game in the second half, so some concerns on the injury front for Selinsgrove. As we get set to start this second half, we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens for the Seals.
Well, if for some reason Wenrick doesn't return and Reinert is unable to go, that throws a lot of pressure on your quarterback Briggs and your all-state player in Ryan Kaiser to try to make some plays here in the second half. and get Selinsgrove on the board in this one.
We saw Brian Troutman in there as the fullback. When Wenrick came out, we saw some of Cameron Benner in there at the tailback spot. And it looks like we will see them as well here in the second half. We haven't got a chance to get an eye on Wenrick. Again, he got shaken up in the first quarter and came out. He's such a big part of the puzzle. Not big with terms of numbers because he's a blocking fullback, but again, a part of that 5 defensive alignment as well as an outside linebacker for the Seals. Selinsgrove will get the football to start the second half as Taylor Groff, the outstanding kicker for Manheim Central, has it teed up, and Ryan Kaiser is back there to await the return. And here comes Groff's kickoff, and Kaiser will field it at his own 2. Across the 10, 15, runs into a first contact at the 20, gets away from that to the 25 and 30. Ryan Kaiser to the 31-yard line, and a solid return for the senior. And Selinsgrove will start from their own 31-yard line here in quarter number 3.
What an exciting player Ryan Kaiser is, 6'2", 195 pounds. And looks like he's going to be in some trouble here, shy of the 20-yard line. Just sidesteps that tackle, cuts it to the outside, and gives Selinsgrove decent field position here at the 31-yard line, considering that kick was fielded at the 2.
Again, Kaiser is a preferred walk-on at Penn State, which means he does not have a scholarship, but he'll get the opportunity to play with the Lions and try to earn that scholarship. The guy we had compared him to in the first half was former Manheim Central wide receiver Graham Zug, who went through the same process and, of course, is a big part of Penn State football as a wide receiver. And Kaiser, it appears, will go to the Nittany Lions as a safety. 6'2", 195 pounds is Ryan Kaiser. Selinsgrove starting from their own 31-yard line. Again, it's Manheim Central 7, Selinsgrove nothing in the AAA state championship game.
No Wenrick, no Reinert in the backfield for the Seals.
And here comes a toss outside. It's Benner at the tailback spot. Finds daylight all the way out across the 40 as Cameron Benner on the carry, picking up daylight all the way out to the 45-yard line. Let me correct that. That's Grant Fleetwood, number 32, not Cameron Benner, 22, in there at the tailback spot. So Grant Fleetwood, a 6', 170-pound junior, gets the call and gets the first down.
They've got some depth at the running back position. Fleetwood's a guy who has carried the ball 69 times this year for over 500 yards. He's been successful, 7.5 yards a pop, and a good job there in first down, a little change of pace. Even with the injuries, you got to go out there and make something happen, and Fleetwood did on first down.
And he's not going to do it here on this play as they're going to pin Selinsgrove backwards this time. The defense for Manheim Central, led by Lowen Johnson, wrapping up Selinsgrove back at about the 38-yard line as Fleetwood finds nothing but Lowen Johnson out in front.
Lowen Johnson is a tremendous talent. He didn't shake off one blocker there. He shook off a pair, Troutman and Myers, and he just got away from both of them and makes the stop in the backfield. Lowen Johnson has had himself a tremendous season, 124 tackles coming in, 6.5 sacks, and 3 fumble recoveries.
Shuck will split out now as a wide receiver, 2 to the right side. Ruby in the slot and Kaiser split out. Briggs wants to throw for it. Going to step up in the pocket, trying to avoid the pressure, and he'll get to the 40-yard line. Scrambling for his life, Corey Briggs picks up a couple.
And Dakota Royer ran a long way to make the tackle there. He started a path on the outside. Briggs able to step up, and Royer stays with it. Royer coming back this way before reversing direction and able to run down Briggs from behind and nearly strip that football.
2-yard pickup for Corey Briggs puts Selinsgrove in a 3rd down and 13 now on the opening possession of quarter number 3. Again, Briggs in the shotgun. 2 on the wing. Now Troutman will go in motion towards the right side, and that's the direction that Briggs wants to roll, but he's in trouble again. It's Royer who will wrestle him to the ground all the way back at the 25-yard line.
That's a mismatch. They've got a running back on Royer, and Royer just shrugged that off and comes up with another big play, and he asserts himself on this drive. Royer off to the right, not able to be blocked, and Briggs has no chance to even look downfield or maybe throw this one away. 2nd
sack of the night for the Barron defense. This a loss of 12 yards. They mark his forward progress at the 28-yard line to force it to a 4th and 25. And now Reinert had been their punter. So we're going to get a presumed second punter. I believe that may be Cameron Benner back out there to punt. It is Cameron Benner punting. And here comes Joe Brubaker on the return for Manheim Central. Finds daylight into Selinsgrove territory all the way down inside the 35 to about the 32-yard line. 5'4", 160-pound senior Joe Brubaker on the return for the Barons.
Little dynamo right there. His dad, John, is the defensive coordinator for the Barons, and Joe Brubaker straight up the field. Absolutely no hesitation. The key for a punt returner is make that first guy miss. Then you usually have some space, and Brubaker just straight up the field, and he gives the Barons excellent field position.
32-yard return for Brubaker to the 32-yard line for Selinsgrove. The Barons already in great field position, trying to take advantage of it. Gorman out of the shotgun as he stays every play, gives it to Gruber, and Gruber will fight to about the 27-yard line. A solid 5-yard pickup for Joe Gruber on his, 9th carry of the day.
Bob Gruber, one of those guys that it's hard to bring him down in that first contact. He just keeps going. He's strong, gets hit, bounces off that, keeps it going forward, and picks up 5.
9 carries and 60 yards now for Joe Gruber. 1,500 plus on the season, 1,520 to be exact coming in. 22 touchdown runs on the year as well for Gruber, and he'll get another opportunity on 2nd and 5. This time he'll take it to about the 25-yard line and put Manheim Central in a 3rd and about 3.
This Selinsgrove defense really a concern for Manheim Central coach Mike Williams. He said it's their strength. It scares us. They blitz a lot. They create turmoil and turnovers. So far, been a tight ball game, but one good throw by Gorman, the difference, and now Manheim is knocking on the door again.
3rd down and 3 for the Barons from the 25-yard line. Gorman has 3 to his left, 2 to his right. It's not going to matter. It's Gruber who gets the call, and Gruber who gets the first down inside the 20-yard line, but the football came loose, and Ryan Kaiser has it. Selinsgrove comes up with the first turnover for their defense as the Selinsgrove Seals come up with the turnover as Gruber lost the handle of the football inside the 20-yard line at the 17.
Well, there is the turmoil and the turnovers punched out. As Gruber was going to the turf, Dakota Wolf got a hand on it. Kaiser from the free safety recovers it. That is a huge get for the Selinsgrove defense.
So both teams have now turned it over. Selinsgrove on an interception in the first quarter. Now Manheim Central fumbles it here in the 3rd. So the Barons now will flip to the defensive side with Selinsgrove starting from its own 17-yard line. The word we got from the sidelines.
Timeout. Selinsgrove, it's their first charge timeout.
Only 10 on the field again.
Again with only 10 men out on the field calling the timeout. Second time the Seals have had to call the timeout. But the word we got from the sidelines is both Reinert and Wenrick are hurt. 7:52 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 7-0 Manheim Central when we come back. First down and 10 at the 17-yard line for the Selinsgrove Seals after the fumble by Manheim Central deep in Selinsgrove territory. And now the Seals will give it into the hands of Fleetwood, and Fleetwood will take it across the 20, out close to the 25-yard line. Good solid run yet again for Grant Fleetwood on first down.
Picks up about 7 on the play, puts him in a 2nd and relatively short. Call it a 2nd down and 4 here. Keeping the ball on the ground after the turnover. Good blocking and a cutback for a pickup of 6.
Grant Fleetwood is now your tailback. Bryant Troutman is now the fullback for Selinsgrove. After the top 2, the starting 2 have been banged up. Fleetwood finding more daylight and hurling a tackler all the way out close to the 30-yard line. That's Cameron Benner back in there at the tailback spot, picking up the first down for the Seals. Out across the 30 to the 31-yard line.
Almost seems now that Dave Hess, and he's really hamstrung by the injuries to his starting backfield. Just trying to find a combination right now that might be able to work. Fleetwood had the good carry on the last series on his first one, then got stuffed in the backfield on his second one. So now they're back to Benner, and his 2 carries have resulted in a first down.
Benner at the tailback spot behind Troutman, the fullback. On the 31-yard line, here comes a toss to the left side this time as Benner will fight to a yard gain, maybe 2 at best. So Manheim Central defense is there to try to shut that down.
At the last
led by
second,
Eric Drake.
Benner reached that football out, and Joe Gruber was just about ready to take a swipe at it when the whistles blew.
Mark his forward progress out close to the 34-yard line, so it's actually a 3-yard pickup for Benner. Makes it 2nd down and 7. Benner is a senior, Fleetwood a junior. Replacement right now of Kyle Reinert. Again, Matt Wenrick and Kyle Reinert out. Dave Hess saying if they return, it's clearly a coach's decision as to whether or not they will return, both banged up. And this time it was Seth Laver in there at the fullback, and the big 245-pound junior barrels his way out close to the 40-yard line.
That's his first carry, so Dave Hess trying everything right now in the second half. This one works very well as he falls forward to make it a 3rd down and 1.
To the 40-yard line it is indeed 3rd and 1 after the 6-yard pickup for Laver. Good guy to pick up on a 1-yard gain on 3rd and 1, and that's where they'll go. Laver in a straight dive up the middle will indeed move the chains for Selinsgrove.
Right off left tackle. You got Spencer Myers at 6'4", 230, helping to lead the way, and nice conversion there for Selinsgrove to keep this drive alive. They've done it on the ground thus far.
Wenrick, the strongest player on the team, benching 350 and squatting 475. Certainly Myers is amongst them. He's one of the top wrestlers in the state, and you got to think Laver's right behind him at 6'2", 245 pounds. He's a load back there. But Briggs this time with a play-action fake, wants to throw for it. Looking downfield for Ruby, who makes the catch. Over the defense of Manheim Central, Matt Ruby makes a great athletic catch inside the 25-yard line at the Barron 24.
A great throw by Briggs and an excellent adjustment by Ruby. And kind of funny, Bob, you and I were talking during our commercial break. Maybe it's time for Selinsgrove to go up top, and they do here after all those successful running plays. They get Ruby behind the defense, and they're inside the 25-yard line. That is not terrible coverage right there by Jared Heisey. Just a good catch by Ruby.
1st and 10 after the 34-yard pickup. Briggs wants to go for more. He's going back to Kaiser this time in the corner of the end zone, and it's intercepted. Coming away with a football is Ebersol, as Corey Ebersol comes up with his 2nd interception of the day. And he is shaken up on the play.
Ebersol had the inside position, just a jump ball with him and Kaiser. And Ebersol able to come up with the football. As you mentioned, his 2nd pick of the night, number 8 on the season. Manheim Central came in with a plus 24 in turnovers, and they come up with a big one here as Briggs was under pressure as he threw that football.
So Briggs throwing it up, hoping Kaiser again can make the play, but it was the defense of Ebersol who makes the play. And again, he's shaken up as you see them collide with one another. It looks like Kaiser, in his attempt to get the ball, kind of pulling the head backwards for Ebersol and drawing that neck a little bit. So we'll hope that Corey Ebersol is okay.
And again, Briggs, he's been very good with the football. 8 interceptions in 15 games coming into tonight, but unfortunately for him, he has found Ebersol twice in this game.
So Corey Ebersol with his 7th and now 8th interception of the season. That leads the way for the Barons defensively, and he is indeed up and walking off the field under his own power. Again, he is an outstanding player on offense and defense. 6 foot, 165-pounder is Casey Ebersol.
Just simply a jump ball in the front of the end zone, and with the inside position, Ebersol, even with Kaiser draped all over the headgear, was able to make the catch. Now, Bob, in years past, when Manheim Central ran the veer, this was a dangerous situation. You give them the ball back with the lead, they can run a lot of time off the clock and get points out of it. We'll see what Mike Williams does here as we are past the midway point of the 3rd quarter.
We'll give it to the back in the backfield, and that's Gruber, who gets the call and gets maybe a yard, and that's it. There to make the tackle for Selinsgrove was Matt Wenrick, back in there at least playing defense. There you see 33 Matt Wenrick back out there on defense for the Seals.
And that's a good sign for them. It's a defense, again, giving up just 6 points a game, 6 shutouts. This Manheim offense scoring 41 points per game, held to just 7, but right now that's good enough to have the Barons in front.
1-yard pickup for Gruber, 2nd down, and we'll call it 9. We'll split 1 receiver to the right side, or 2 to the right side, and 1 to the left. Fake play action fake. Gorman wants to throw, and he wants to go deep. Got an open receiver down the middle of the field. It's Trafford, but it's broken up.
What a
great
hit.
Defense by Selinsgrove to jar it loose.
Cameron Benner, boy, coming over from the outside, just laid out Trafford, who is still on the field. Trafford had that ball right between the 4 and the 6 as it arrived. A great throw by Gorman off the play action pass. And what a hit by Cameron Benner to jar it loose.
And that's good play all around. That's a great throw. Benner, it's Trafford doing what he's supposed to do, but it's the jarring hit by Cameron Benner to lock that loose.
It looked like it was actually through his hands. Maybe he heard some footsteps. I'm not sure. That ball was right on the money. Gorman wanted that one for sure, but Benner made certain that ball was not going to be complete.
3rd down and 9 now as Trafford still shaken up on the field, as you saw him take that jarring hit and then hit the ground hard as well with 4:02 left to go, 3rd quarter. Manheim Central's receiver now shaken up on the play.
Excuse me, Bob. Nearly every receiver will tell you, look, when you go across the middle or you go down the middle, you know you're going to get hit. So you might as well catch the football. They're going to hit you whether you catch it or not. But unfortunately for Trafford there, he was not able to hang on, and just a perfectly thrown ball by Gorman.
I remind you that we certainly invite you to check out our website here on PCN. Check out that website, www.pcntv.com. The rosters for all the state championship teams are there. Plenty of information on the teams playing for the state championships. And if you'd like to purchase a DVD or a VHS of this game or any PIAA sports championships that PCN has covered since 1997, visit the PCN online store at that website, www.pcntv.com. As you see Trafford now up and walking off the field under his own power, and that's a huge piece of the puzzle for Manheim Central's. Wide receiver, safety, punter, return man. He does a little bit of everything for the Barons, but he's coming out for at least one play on 3rd down and 10 coming up for Manheim Central. Gorman will throw for it again. Steps up in the pocket, flushed out of the pocket, look to tuck and run, and he'll go out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. With Wenrick bearing down on him, Gorman steps out of bounds after about a 4-yard pickup.
Chris Andrews, a senior, was warming up to punt here if they do indeed kick the football away and Trafford cannot go. Gorman with good coverage downfield, able to get out of the pocket, but cannot pick up the 1st down. And this is an interesting situation now because Andrews is coming in the game to punt here because Trafford is not available.
Selinsgrove should get good field position out of this, as they'll send Benner and Kaiser back to return the punt.
Seals have blocked 5 this year. Will they come after the new guy back there?
They do not. Punt is away, and it's a good one. And Kaiser will call for a fair catch at the 40-yard line. So outstanding punt for Manheim Central of 35 yards in a crucial situation.
I'll say.
The Seals come up with the football, 1st and 10 at the 40.
He had one play to kick a couple of balls into the net to get loose, and he comes out with a high spiral of 35 yards, not allowing Kaiser to return.
Manheim Central has always had great special teams under the direction of Mike Williams, again in his 29th season, going over the 300-win barrier this year. Now 302 wins, 59 losses, and 3 ties. 1st and 10 for the Seals, starting from their own 40. They will keep it on the ground, and they'll find daylight. And into Manheim Central territory, breaking tackles all the way. It's Cameron Benner down to the Baron 25-yard line. 35 yards and a run for Cameron Benner.
Well, that erases the punt on one play. They get those 35 yards back. Benner able to make a tremendous move to elude Dakota Royer and keep going downfield. Toss sweep to the left. Look at the gaping hole and the blocking downfield. Benner with the head up makes the move right there on Royer, who runs right by him, and he continues down to the 25-yard line.
1st and 10 for the Seals at the 25. After Benner's 35-yard run. Selinsgrove trying to get that elusive 1st touchdown and tie this one up. They go back to the power game, and the fullback Troutman picking up daylight all the way down to about the 11-yard line. Back-to-back 1st down runs for Selinsgrove.
And really for the first time, we saw a glimpse of them on the far side. The fans from Selinsgrove really getting a chance to get into the ball game as 2 runs pick up 49 yards, one by Benner, this one by Troutman, covering up that ball with 2 hands as he breaks through the line of scrimmage.
Gruber finally makes the tackle for Manheim Central, but not before Troutman picked up 14 yards inside of 3 minutes left to go, 3rd quarter. 7-0 Barons. The Seals trying to change that. They go right back to Troutman, and he is wrapped up immediately, and it's Gruber again on the tackle.
Gruber, the inside linebacker, slipping through there quickly, getting to Troutman in the backfield. It'll be a loss of a yard. Gruber unblocked as he came through.
Loss of a yard on the play for the Seals back to the 12-yard line, so it's now 2nd down and 11. Manheim Central's defense trying to tighten up inside the red zone. Troutman is the fullback. Benner stays in there at tailback. Kaiser split out left. Ruby split out right. Tight end Shuck on the right side, and Briggs wants to throw for it. Plenty of time, runs out of time, and runs out of there and runs for some yardage inside the 10. Corey Briggs fighting all the way down to about the 7-yard line.
Very nice play by Briggs. Tremendous coverage in the end zone by the Manheim Central secondary, and Briggs made the right decision at the right time to bring this ball down. He's looking, nobody open, heads up field.
Looking for his tight end, Shuck, across the middle of the field, but just didn't pull the trigger on it. And Briggs instead tucks and runs for 5 yards. So far in this quarter, Selinsgrove with 104 total yards to just 18 for Manheim Central. The Seals need 7 more to tie this one up. They'll go back to the toss sweep. Benner turns the corner, gets to the 5. Gruber makes contact with him. Benner fights to about the 4, and that's it. Gruber making the plays right now on defense for the Barons. As Trafford back out there on defense also gets his helmet in there and helps out on the tackle at the 4-yard line.
When Benner took that toss and headed around the right corner, it appeared he had some real estate, but this Manheim Central defense was able to pursue, and Gruber coming over to make the hit. Johnson in there as well. Now 4th down and a couple.
Timeout. Selinsgrove, it's their 2nd charge, timeout.
So a crucial situation for the Seals. 4th down and 3 from the Manheim Central 4-yard line, and Dave Hess wants to talk about it a little bit and decide how they want to approach it. Trailing 7-0 inside of a minute left to go in the 3rd quarter. Do you kick the field goal, make sure you get points out of this, or do you go for the 3 yards and try to pick up the 1st down, or hopefully, if you're Selinsgrove, the touchdown?
His kicker, Spencer Hotelling, has 2 field goals this year, 128, 129. This is just a little bit more than an extra point right now to try to get some points on the board. The other side is you've got a chance to get a 1st down. You don't have to score here. You can get a new set of downs without getting into the end zone. And you also, if you go for it and don't make it, you've got Manheim Central inside the 5-yard line unless you lose yardage here. So there's a lot of things that Dave Hess can do in this situation.
And he has decided to kick. Ryan Kaiser is the holder. Hotelling is out there. And he will attempt the field goal. Spencer Hotelling is a junior. As Steve said, he's got a 28 and a 29-yard field goal in the year. This is a 21-yarder. A little bit of hesitation by Hotelling, but he gets the kick up and through as he jumped the gun a little bit on the snap, but he had to hold back and take a restep, but he gets it through from 21 yards out, and Selinsgrove finally gets on the scoreboard. 52 seconds left to go, 3rd quarter. Manheim Central 7, Selinsgrove 3.
Hotelling, a soccer player on the team for the 2nd year. Kaiser gets that ball down, able to spin those laces to the front, and Hotelling struck that one very nicely as he drills it through the uprights. I don't think there's a bad decision for Dave Hess to make right there. A lot of things can happen that are good for you. Again, if you go for it and don't get it, your defense has played great here in the 3rd quarter. You have Manheim Central pinned back. That's a really nice drive. 56 yards. They did an excellent job of running the football with Benner and Troutman, and they get some points out of it.
I think that was the biggest thing. I think it was nothing else. It was more of a confidence builder a little bit that you finally get some points on the scoreboard. If it's maybe the first, or maybe if it's the 2nd quarter, maybe you try to go for the touchdown instead. But at this point in time, perhaps wanting to make sure his team doesn't get frustrated. Dave Hess looking to try to get at least some kind of points on the scoreboard, because if you want to win it, you got to score a 2nd time anyhow. So it's 7-3 right now. Manheim Central on top, and the Barons will get the football back.
The kickoff guy for the Seals, Kyle Benner, is the soccer captain. Although he did play midget football. He was a quarterback and wide receiver at the midget level. He knows what he's doing out there.
Trafford is back out on the field, as we said, on defense, and he's back out there as the return man in the middle, but it's Brubaker who will start from his own 6-yard line, skips away from a tackle at the 15-yard line to the 20, and out to about the 22-yard line for Joe Brubaker on the return. Manheim Central in its 3rd offensive series here in half number 2.
Looking for their first down since halftime, but how about Brubaker? Only 5'4", fearless out there. He just gets the ball and goes, and if somebody hits him, somebody hits it. Almost a mirror image to the first half for Gorman. Just had a little bit of trouble moving the football in the 1st quarter, much better in the 2nd quarter.
7 for 15 so far for Gorman throwing the football. has carried it 7 times for 24 yards. He'll start again from the 22-yard line, and he'll give it to Gruber. Gruber will dive out across to about the 25-yard line, a pickup of 3 on the play, makes it 2nd and 7.
And Gorman has really not been a factor as a runner at all, and really has not been part of the run game since the first quarter. He tried several times, really got nowhere, and they've used Gruber since then.
Both have gone over the 1,000-yard barrier. Gruber over 1,500 yards. Gorman with over 1,100 yards coming in. 2nd down and 7 for the Barons from the 25-yard line. Again, the linebackers showing blitz for Selinsgrove. And again, it's Gruber, and the linebackers for Selinsgrove get it done, along with big 77 Spencer Myers in there again to clog things up. Lost back to the 24-yard line.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
That will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Again, through 3 quarters of play in a Class 3A championship game, Manheim Central 7, Selinsgrove 3. We got an opportunity to talk to Mike Williams a little bit before this game about these 2 15-0 football teams.
That's amazing. It's a shame that some ways going to be 15-1 and in some ways going to be 16-0. Selinsgrove's a great team. I think it's going to be a great battle between 2 good teams tonight, and I think Selinsgrove is one of the better teams that we have played in the last 5 years.
Doesn't get any more succinct than that. Somebody's going to be 15-1 and somebody's going to be 16-0. As we see some of the highlights of that 3rd quarter, Selinsgrove ultimately coming up with a fumble recovery. Kaiser gets his hands on the football that starts the offense in gear, and the big pass play to Matt Ruby that ultimately led to an interception in the end zone as they went again for Kaiser, but there was Casey Ebersol with the pick. Selinsgrove gets the ball back. The big run by Cameron Benner that ultimately sets up the Seals for their score.
They use Troutman then in the very next play, gets it down close to the 10, and then Hotelling, after the drive stalls, it's a 21-yard field goal to make it a 7-3 game. Very good 3rd quarter for Selinsgrove on both sides of the football.
Manheim Central with it now on a 3rd down and about 7. And Gorman again throwing for it, but again well over his intended target. And out of bounds, Kaiser, the closest one to it in a Selinsgrove uniform. Incomplete pass will force Manheim Central to punt the football.
And maybe some miscommunication there. That ball was thrown to the outside. Ebersol had broken to the inside on his pattern.
6 straight incompletions now for Justin Gorman, going all the way back into the 2nd quarter. And so Trafford back in there to punt. And Selinsgrove should again get good field position. Send Benner and Kaiser back to return, and it's nearly blocked. It's a low line drive kick, and it will roll all the way down inside the 40. It's a great roll for Manheim Central, and Trafford is fortunate that that ball got over the line of scrimmage. It was a low line drive kick, and Spencer Myers almost got his hands on it. Turns out to be a 38-yard punt, however.
That rugby kick out of that strange spread out formation does allow some gaps. And Trafford rolling to his right. Who else but Spencer Myers coming in there. And actually, because he hooked that ball a little bit, he avoided a block punt.
Absolutely. He kicks that straight away, and it's going into the hand of Spencer Myers. Instead, it turns out to be a big change in field position, and Trafford ends up with a 38-yard punt, backing the Seals all the way to the 33-yard line. The Selinsgrove, thinking they might get it out near midfield, actually gets it at the 33-yard line. They'll go to Troutman, the fullback, busts through the 40-yard line out to about the 42. Pickup of about 5 on the play.
Well, this would be quite a story if Selinsgrove can come back to win this game for its first state title with its starting backfield unable to go in the second half because of injury. Wenrick was back at linebacker, as you noted, but he is not in there at fullback.
Troutman picked up 4 on that play. It's 2nd and 6. Here comes that toss sweep that Benner's had some success with, and he'll find some daylight. Almost had the football knocked out of his hands, but he picks up the first down, but flags on the play. So Cameron Benner picks up a first down for Selinsgrove in Manheim Central territory, but let's get the flag.
In an area of holding, and Joe Brubaker came out of the pile as if he was the one who was held.
And there it is. It is indeed holding and a block below the waist. So there were 2 flags on the field. So obviously Manheim Central will take the better of the 2 calls.
There are 2 fouls on the offense, holding Offense, that penalty be declined. Illegal block below the waist, that's accepted. 15-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Repeat, second down.
You take the 15-yard penalty as opposed to the 10-yard holding penalty. And so Selinsgrove with its second penalty of the game, but it's a big one, backing them up even further now, only back to the 25-yard line.
They have been penalty-free throughout much of this one, but that's a critical time to take a 15-yarder.
It's now second down and about 23 coming up for the Seals, back at their own 25-yard line. And trouble with the snap as Briggs dropped it, scooped it up, and runs with it. And he's still on his feet out across the 35-40. Corey Briggs turning the proverbial Sal's ear into a silk purse and picking it out all the way out across the 40-yard line to the 42.
This could have been complete disaster. Snap a little bit high, not a terrible snap at all. He just appeared to take his eye off it, maybe trying to find the coverage. Picks it up, and lo and behold, he's across the 40 to the 42 and got a good chunk of that yardage back.
Got 17 yards back, as a matter of fact, and forces the Seals now into a third and a much more workable about 6 yards to try to pick up the first down. Great play by the heady Corey Briggs. Again, verbaled to head to Harvard in September to play football. He wants to throw for it now. Kaiser makes a catch in Manheim Central territory to the 40, 35, and finally brought down at the Barron 33-yard line.
Well, he ran a great pattern. A little stop with a kick outside and a well-thrown ball by Corey Briggs, who, after that run on the mishandled snap, threw that ball with a lot of confidence out to the left. Kaiser catching that ball with some momentum heading upfield, and he is able to get the ball inside the 35-yard line. 25
yards on the hookup, second catch of the day for Kaiser. And it's 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Here they go back to the toss sweep to Benner. Manheim Central waiting for it, and they wrap him up, leading the way for the Barons. Number 56, Dan Hanselman. The football came loose, but I believe he was down on the ground as Hanselman made the first contact for Manheim Central, and wrapping up Cameron Benner right at the line of scrimmage.
Thought I saw an official on the far side throw the beanbag to the field, which is the indication that he thought it was a fumble.
Knees down, ball hits the ground and comes loose. So it's no gain on the play for Benner. Second down and 10. Benner now 6 carries, 51 yards. As he's now the lone split back in the backfield with Briggs under center. Laufer back in there at the fullback spot, and they want to throw across the middle looking for the tight end Shuck, but it's over his head and incomplete. So it'll be 3rd and 10.
Dakota Royer is having himself a good second half from that outside linebacker position. He forced Briggs to get rid of that football before he wanted to, because Laufer wasn't quite ready to turn and look for the delivery. Royer right in the face of Briggs as he lets it go.
Briggs now 6 for 17, throwing the football for 90 yards and the 2 interceptions. There you get a good look at Dakota Royer, the future Penn State Nittany Lion. 3rd down and 10 now for the Seals at the Barron 33-yard line. Briggs now shifts to the tight end spot. Laufer goes in motion right wing to left wing. Briggs under a heavy rush, but flags thrown on the snap.
Good thing for Briggs, because Royer was there again.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
3rd down and 15 now instead for Selinsgrove, back to the 38-yard line, making the job a little bit tougher for Corey Briggs and the offense for Selinsgrove.
They overcame the first penalty on this drive, the 15-yarder.
They'll send 2 receivers to the left side, and Ruby and Kaiser. Shuck split out to the right side. Briggs will drop back into the shotgun. He's got Benner to his left, low snap, no problem for Briggs. Looking to throw it deep, looking for Shuck to make a play, tipped and incomplete. Again, double coverage by Manheim Central deep downfield. And getting his hand on the football was Jared Heisey for the Barons.
Have to really be impressed with the Barons defense. I mean, they're blitzing guys. They're bringing some extra pressure in obvious passing situations, yet every receiver for Selinsgrove seems to be double teamed, whether it's Kaiser or somebody else. They had twins to the left. So Briggs goes back to the right looking downfield, and again, 2 guys right there to defend that one nicely for Manheim Central.
Derek Hart along with Heisey to tip it away. There you see Heisey, 21, getting his left hand on the football to knock it away. And it's a 4th down now coming up for Selinsgrove. And Casey Benner will look to punt the football. And a delay of game penalty coming up for the
Prior to
Seals.
snap, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
To be honest with you, Steve, I think one of the reasons it's making it easier for Manheim Central to double cover the intended target for Briggs is he's really not looking off a receiver. He's kind of focusing in on where he wants to throw the football, and it's making it a little bit easier for Manheim Central to get that extra help over there for that intended target.
And they've used Kaiser a lot on the perimeter. He's very good over the middle. We'll see if maybe they try to get him some space down the field between the hash marks when they get the ball back.
Maybe a little slant across the middle, get him some space and hope to run with it. Here comes a fake. They snap it to the up man, and it's Kaiser. Can he get the first down? Gruber knocked him out of bounds, but I don't think he got enough to get the first down. 8:43 remaining in this football game. And let's wait and see where they spot the football. Going to be shy of what they need to get the first down. The Manheim Central fans and the Selinsgrove fans up in arms right now. We'll wait and see.
He was well short.
Barren football. Selinsgrove fans were looking for a call on a bump out of bounds, but clearly Kaiser was still in bounds when he got hit. There you see Kaiser get bumped out of bounds. He's looking for a flag, no flag called. And so we'll take a break. 7-3, Manheim Central on top when we come back. Across the 40-yard line to about the 41, and there comes a penalty flag in at the end of the play as Manheim Central quarterback Justin Gorman bumped out of bounds at about the 40-yard line.
He comes up hobbling, one of the few times we have seen him run the football.
This is going to be a holding penalty against the Barons.
I think the Manheim Central fans felt it was going to be a 15-yard penalty for a late hit.
Absolutely they did.
Holding, offense. It's a 10-yard penalty being forced from the end of the run. Replay first down.
5th penalty of the day for the Manheim Central Barons. And we'll see if we can pick it up. There is the hold. As Gorman takes it outside and right there in front of the officials. Big flag for the penalty. To put Manheim Central now in a 1st and 16 as the penalty is marked off 10 yards from the spot to the 31-yard line now for the Barons. Gorman will fake the handoff and keep it himself, and he'll take it out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Again, Myers in on the tackle for Selinsgrove, along with Dylan Elliott. 5-yard pickup for Justin Gorman. And it's now 2nd down and about 11 for the Barons.
You're in a spot now with just over 8 minutes left. You have a 4-point lead. You need to protect the football first and foremost, but you don't want to get too conservative at this point if you're Manheim Central. There is a lot of time left for both these teams. If the Barons can drive down the field and get a touchdown, that would all but salt this one away.
Problem for Selinsgrove is they've already burned 2 of their 3 timeouts as we turn now inside of 8 minutes left to go. 2nd down and 11 for Manheim Central. Gorman looking to throw. Has time, looking to throw deep. Has an open receiver, and a pass is caught by Trafford right at midfield and goes out of bounds.
What a great throw by Justin Gorman. And again, with blitz pressure coming from multiple areas, the offensive line in the backfield picking up those rushers. This is a deep out, a play that takes a long time to develop, and the throw is in the air a long time as well. Right on the money to Trafford along the sideline. Gets the foot down, and a big conversion for Manheim Central.
How about the first down of the second half for Manheim Central comes with 7:45 left to go in the game, and they're up 7-3. At midfield, they'll go to Gruber, and Gruber takes it into Selinsgrove territory to the 49-yard line. He is met there by the nose guard John Trago, middle of that 3-down defensive lineman for Selinsgrove. Brings down Gruber after a 1-yard pickup to make it 2nd and 9.
They've done a very good job against Gruber here in the second half. Tried to surprise them that time, and Selinsgrove was ready.
Gruber's worked hard for his 74 yards so far today. 14 carries, 74 yards for Gruber. 8 carries, 29 yards for the quarterback Gorman. Gorman will take it out of Gruber's belly and keep it himself, but it won't matter as Bryant Troutman was there to wrap him up and toss him to the ground like a rag doll back at the 46-yard line.
Well, Selinsgrove head coach Dave Hess told us before the game, it's really tough to try and simulate this offense the way Gorman can run it. As you mentioned, they've seen the spread quite a bit, but not this type of spread, as talented as Gorman is back there. And they have done an excellent job tonight. We mentioned the Allentown Central Catholic game, and the Vikings did a great job in the first half. The adjustments were made at halftime, and not much doing for Allentown Central in the second half. It's been this way the whole night tonight for Gorman. He has really had a tough go trying to run the football.
Loss of 2 on the play. Gorman wants to throw for it, throws it into a crowd, and it's intercepted. Ryan Kaiser with the pick. Derek Hart was the intended target, but Kaiser comes up with the interception, his second of the year.
What a catch by Kaiser. All-state safety last year as a junior. Shouldn't be surprised. He does this offensively as well, laying out. If this is an incomplete pass, they have a chance to punt the ball away, maybe pin them deep, but he gets his team possession with a sparkling interception.
He had 9 picks as a junior, and that just his second of the year, and it's predominantly because teams have just tried to stay away from the middle of the field because of that. And he comes up and makes the play that hurts Manheim Central, gives it back to the Seals at the 28-yard line. Selinsgrove will go to the ground game, and it's Lawver, the big fullback, who gets the call and picks it up to about the 32-yard line, pickup of about 4 to make it 2nd down and 6.
Lawver has not been used much, but in the limited duty, he's been very effective carrying the football.
3rd carry, 12 yards in total for Seth Lawver. He's such a load back there. He's a big kid at 245 pounds, plays the middle of those 5 linebackers on defense. Here's that slant we talked about to Kaiser, and he does pick up the 1st down across the 40-yard line.
Good throw by Briggs. Short drop. You have to deliver that ball with some speed. Looking to his left, Kaiser with the catch. Good play, run by the Seals.
Guys are getting double covered like Kaiser is. It's one of the best ways to get into football is just run that little slant pattern before the double team can come to him. They pick up 9 on that play. And now they'll go back to Cameron Benner in the ground game, straight arming his way across the 45-yard line and run out of bounds as Cameron Benner picks up about 4 yards on the play.
What a battle this has been. We talked about it at halftime. Good pitching versus good hitting. Whatever your analogy wants to be. These are 2 offenses that score over 40 points per game. The defenses, Selinsgrove gives up 6. Manheim Central allows 11 per game. Right now, the defenses are winning.
Right now, 2nd down and 5 as Benner actually got 5 yards. His forward progress to the 46-yard line. Now play action fake. Briggs wants to roll out. Under a brush from Johnson, he overthrows Kaiser. And credit Trafford with the defense on the receiving end, but credit Lowen Johnson for the play chasing Corey Briggs wide right.
Johnson just never seems to be fooled. Ran a little bootleg there, rolling out to the right, and Johnson reacted to it quickly and got right up on Briggs. Action going to the left. Briggs rolls right back to the right. There's Lowen Johnson as he turns.
Forced Briggs to throw that football sooner than he would have liked to, and before Kaiser could get free. And it forces Selinsgrove now into a 3rd down and 5 from the 46-yard line. They need to get Manheim Central territory to the Barons 49 to pick up the 1st down. There's Kaiser split out to the right. Ruby split to the left. I formation. Here comes that slant to Kaiser. Makes the catch, pays for it at the 45-yard line. Trafford laid him out, but Kaiser held on.
High throw. Briggs put something extra on it, got away from him just a little bit. Trafford coming in low, delivered a huge hit. Kaiser slow to his feet, but what another acrobatic catch made by Ryan Kaiser in a big situation for Selinsgrove.
There you see Trafford just cutting his legs out from under him at the 46-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Seals in Manheim Central territory. Inside of 4.5 remaining. They'll go back to the ground. Benner trying to get a block, not going to get it as Manheim Central's defense wraps him up. And it's Dakota Royer on the tackle right around the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
Kaiser was not on the field for that play. He will head back to the huddle here on 2nd down and 9. And they're without their 2 starting running backs, Wenrick and Reinard. They have to keep Kaiser on the field.
Selinsgrove not quite in hurry-up mode yet, but they might want to be a little bit closer to hurry up than they are right now. Inside of 4 minutes to go. Remember, Selinsgrove only has 1 timeout left. Play action fake. Briggs wants to throw for it, and he finds Troutman. Corey Briggs' pass to Troutman is run out of bounds right around the 41-yard line. A pickup of about 5, and it'll be 3rd and 5.
Now Troutman's shaken up on the sideline as well. He lost that football out of bounds. Kaiser, 4 catches, 52 yards. He has a pick as well that set up this possession. They're obviously, with that one timeout, Bob, they would have to be in 4-down territory right here at the Manheim Central 41-yard line and 3:40 to play.
Second catch of the day for Troutman, 3rd and 5 at the 40-yard line. Actually, the 41-yard line is where they marked Troutman out of bounds, looking for the quick hitter, and the pass is knocked away.
Interference.
Pass interference, perhaps. Ruby was the intended target. Heisey was right there, and a flag was thrown.
And what helps Selinsgrove there is the pass was behind the intended receiver. Heisey, driving through there, made the contact. This will be a spot foul. It'll be right where the penalty occurred because it's inside 15 yards.
There you see pass interference, the call against Manheim Central.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Sorry, 15 yards.
High school football, it's a 15-yard foul.
My apology, that's right. Here's the ball is behind Ruby, but Heisey not realizing that, trying to time that perfectly, and he got there way too early.
Moves the football now to the 26-yard line. First penalty, first down by way of penalty in a football game, and it goes to the Seals. They're 11th of this second half. They'll go back to the big fullback Lover, barreling his way inside the 20, down to about the 17-yard line.
He has been great when he's had a chance to carry the football. Off the right tackle, they got Lowen Johnson tied up there. One of the few times he's been engaged with a blocker for an extended period of time tonight, and that allowed Lover to get around the right side and pick up 8 yards.
Second down and 2 now for the Seals inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. Lover stays in there at the fullback. Benner behind him in the eye. It's Lover on 2nd and 2. We'll get the first down and more inside the 15, down to the 10-yard line. 1st and goal to go, Selinsgrove.
And this may force Manheim Central to perhaps start thinking about using their timeouts. They have 3 left. They may need to get the ball back here if Selinsgrove can punch this one into the end zone for a go-ahead touchdown. Lover again. This time they go left. Huge hole and a good series going right now for the Selinsgrove offensive line.
Back-to-back 8-yard pickups for Lover. 1st and goal to go. There you see it from the 10-yard line. Selinsgrove getting it done on the ground here in half number 2. They've got 11 first downs in this second half. Now they'll go outside with Benner. Straight arms his way as Trafford runs him out of bounds at about the 5-yard line, 2nd and goal.
You're going to keep the clock running there. The official said the forward progress was stopped inbounds.
At the 6, so it's a 4-yard pickup for Cameron Benner.
Benner will stretch play with a stiff arm on Trafford.
At the 6-yard line, 2nd and goal, and in a perfect world, if you're Selinsgrove, you'd like to run off some more of the 2 minutes left on the clock, but you got to make sure you get it in the end zone. They trail 7-3. 2nd down, goal to go from the 6-yard line. They stay in the eye. Kaiser split to the right side, Ruby to the left side. It's Lover, the fullback, and he's going to get pay dirt. Seth Lover barrels his way in for the touchdown. The 6'2", 245-pound junior takes it home from 6 yards out. Selinsgrove leads for the first time.
No Wenrick, no problem. Give it to Lover as a backup fullback. Troutman's been banged up here in the second half, so he's really the 3rd string fullback in this game, the way the depth chart has worked out, and he has paid huge dividends for the Seals.
Selinsgrove putting together a 72-yard drive in which they picked up 4 first downs in the process, and they take it home for the touchdown. And now Spencer Hotelling will come on for the extra point. Kick is up and good. 1 minute, 47 seconds remaining in the AAA championship. 10-7. Selinsgrove on top of Manheim Central when we come back. Seth Lover's 6-yard touchdown run puts Selinsgrove on top 10-7. As the Seals take it 11 plays, 72 yards. They eat up 4.5 minutes off the clock. And with 1:47 left to go, Selinsgrove's on top 10-7. Manheim Central has time and timeouts. The Barons, all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
What an impressive march after the interception by Kaiser. Seals in front for the first time.
Great crowd on hand here at Hershey Park Stadium, and they've seen a good one here in this AAA championship. It's what we expected, and it's a tight game between two 15-0 teams. Here comes the all-important return for Trafford across the 20, across the 25-yard line to the 26-yard line.
The interception by Kaiser on a layout catch, getting things going for Selinsgrove. Then Kaiser gets flipped over on the slam pattern, but then Lawver, as they got deeper down the field, just taking over. And eventually he will barrel in off the left side from 6 yards out, putting Selinsgrove on top for the first time.
Seth Lawver now 6 carries, and 34 yards, and now he'll resume his spot in the middle of the defense for the Seals in that 3-5 defensive alignment. Gorman wants to throw for it, has an open receiver. Derek Hart goes low to make the catch, and does make the catch across the 30 at the 31-yard line. A pick up a 5 to make it 2nd and 5.
Throw a little short. I think that was designed to get him out of bounds as quickly as possible, but the clock will continue to run.
Second catch of the day for Derek Hart. The first one was the 36-yard touchdown pass, and this one is swatted down at the line of scrimmage. Selinsgrove again gets their hands up there and knocks that one down. That was Casey Kantz with his second deflection at the line of scrimmage.
Coming off this side, Kantz gets the hand up, timed it perfectly again.
Gorman now 9 for 20 throwing the football. He was a 58% completion percentage on the year, and threw for over 2,000 yards and 19 touchdowns. He completed his 20th touchdown pass for Manheim Central's only score. Now on a 3rd down and 5. He's in trouble in the backfield, and he's going down. Bryant Troutman with the sack for Selinsgrove, forcing Manheim Central to call the timeout.
Got around Gruber, who was kept in the backfield to try and pick up the blitz.
Their first charge timeout.
And Troutman closed quickly on Gorman.
Lose 9 back to the 22-yard line. First sack of the game for Selinsgrove defensively, and what a huge spot for it. Brian Gorman getting through and coming through, Brian Troutman, coming through and getting the sack on Justin Gorman. 4th down and 14 coming up for Manheim Central. Talked about that 3-5 defensive alignment, and how about number 5 for Ryan Kaiser, getting the job done here as a kick return, fumble return, has an interception, has a couple of completions on the night as well. Ryan Kaiser doing what he does, and that's everything.
Absolutely, and this is the big play. The interception, giving his team possession, then he makes a huge catch, taking the big hit over the middle, and eventually they would get it in the end zone and get in front, and they are now 1:09 away from state goal.
And Manheim Central with no choice but to go for it on 4th and 14 from their own 22-yard line with 1:09 left to go. Gorman in trouble immediately, steps away from the oncoming rush, stops, plants, throws across the middle of the field. Pass was in and out of the hands of a receiver and incomplete on the big stick. Manheim Central cannot hold on. Selinsgrove defense comes up with the play again.
That was Dylan Elliott delivering the big blow on Derek Hart. That would have been enough for a first down. Gorman did a super job to keep that play alive and then to throw back across the grain. But Elliott, the great special teams player as well, is able to knock this ball free.
Hart has it, and now he doesn't. That quickly, the close of Elliott jarring it loose.
Never had time to really get that ball into the midsection to secure it. It was still exposed a little bit, and Elliott delivered the big hit.
Credit Casey Kantz with the pressure up front for Selinsgrove to force Gorman out of the pocket and make him scramble for it. And then it was Elliott who finished it off on the other end. And Selinsgrove is going to get the football back, and they've got 60 seconds left to kill here on the clock at Hershey Park Stadium between themselves and their first state championship. Got to hold on to the football now, because Manheim Central is going to come and try to strip it away, starting from the 22-yard line of the Barons. Briggs is actually going to roll out, but he's just doing that to buy time. He's not going to throw the football, as he'll go down now back at about the 26-yard line.
No timeout called yet by Manheim Central. Now they'll ask for one.
So the Barons
Timeout.
will call their second timeout.
Defense, their second timeout.
Selinsgrove defense, we've talked about that 3-5, and they have been terrific tonight.
Their pressure is just relentless, and it's constant coming from all over the field. They've held a really talented offense to 7 points here tonight.
Gorman has thrown for just 90 yards. He's run for just 20-plus yards. Gruber's run for just 70. Again, those two have combined for well over 4,000 yards on the season, maybe closer to 5,000 yards, but they have been held in check tonight by a tremendous Selinsgrove defense. And the Seals now with 45 seconds left to go. There's Matt Wendrick back celebrating with his teammates. Have been shaken up in this game and got back out there on defense. But the guy who took his place on offense, Seth Lauver, along with Bryant Troutman, didn't do a very bad job, did they?
What a story that they have a chance to win this game without their starting fullback and their starting tailback being available on offense for the entire second half.
And Briggs is just taking one for the team right now. He's rolling out, not intending to throw the ball, but just running some time off the clock. Lowen Johnson makes yet another tackle for Manheim Central and forces the Barons to call their third and final timeout with 38 seconds left to go. Reminder, we've got 2 more games coming your way here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. 10 o'clock a.m. tomorrow morning is the AA championship game. Lancaster Catholic and Greensburg Central Catholic. And then 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon is the Quad A game between State College and LaSalle College, all coming your way here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network tomorrow afternoon. Please note the game time change here on PCN. The PIAA has elected to move the game times up because of the threat of snow coming your way here through central Pennsylvania, coming overnight and into tomorrow morning. So that's the reason for the game time change. 10 a.m. for the AA game and 2 p.m. for the Quad A game. We'll have them both for you live here on PCN. Now in a third down situation, the Selinsgrove Seals do what any team dreams about doing, and that's taking a knee and running out the game clock as Manheim Central cannot stop it. The Seals will have to take one more snap and one more knee. Maybe. Depending on when they spot the football, they will spot it now. They will not have to take one more knee. And the Selinsgrove Seals have won their first ever football state championship. They come from behind in the second half and they win it. Selinsgrove 10, Manheim Central 7.
Well, what a battle here. 2 defenses really ruling the night in this one. And then all of a sudden the Selinsgrove offense, which had really been dormant for most of the game, comes alive long enough to march 72 yards in a very impressive drive to go ahead for the first and only time tonight. They'll take it because they're ahead as the clock hits zeros.
And we go back to that other situation we talked about earlier when Selinsgrove was in a 4th and 3 at the Manheim Central 4-yard line. And we said at the time, it's really a no-lose situation unless you go for it and don't get it, of course, then you'll be second-guessed. But Dave Hess opted to send his kicker out there to kick the field goal, knowing he needs 2 scores, trailing by 10-7. And Spencer Holing came through, made the field goal from 21 yards out to make it 7-3. And ultimately, they get the touchdown by that young man, Seth Lauver, to go on top 10-7. But getting those points at that point in time in the game proved to be the right call for Dave Hess.
And there's no question, because that touchdown then didn't tie the game. It put them in front. And Manheim Central with a fumble, Kaiser with the recovery. But the Barons end up getting the ball right back, even after a long pass downfield to Ruby. They try to go up top on the very next play into the end zone, and it results in Ebersol's second interception of the night. And the Seals then started to move the ball on the ground. It was Benner going 35 yards. Next play, Troutman goes for 11, and this is when Hotelling would come up with the 21-yard field goal, getting him on the board late in the third quarter.
That made it 7-3. 52 seconds left to go in the third period. And then eventually, this interception by Kaiser gave the ball back, and then Kaiser, with that great athletic play, sets up the Selinsgrove offense inside Manheim Central territory. And then it was the big man, Seth Lauver, time and time again, and finally the last time from 6 yards out, going in for the touchdown. As Manheim Central in the second half came up with just 38 yards of total offense and 1 first down.
And that last drive, the game-winning drive, once they got the ball inside the 30 or 25, it was power. They were going to run the ball with Lawver, and that offensive line did an outstanding job. Both defenses were tremendous, but you look at those numbers in the second half. 1 first down, 38 yards for Manheim Central after the Barons had a better than 2-to-1 advantage in total offense in the first half.
They had 7 first downs in the first half, but just that 1 in the second half. So a huge difference in this football game was Selinsgrove turning up the heat on defense and controlling what they were concerned the most about Manheim Central, and that was the quarterback Justin Gorman, but they were able to hold him in check and ultimately come up with the interception by Kaiser. It got them the football back, turned it back to their offense, and again, go back to the plays with Cameron Benner. We talked about Lawver up the middle, but I think once they started to go with that toss sweep a little bit more and got Cameron Benner around the edges, that opened some things up the middle.
That's an excellent point, because now you've got to start defending the whole field when they're going to the running game. Benner certainly showed the speed that he could get outside and do some damage. Well, guess what? Now you allow a guy like Lawver with those quick hitters to the fullback straight ahead to do some damage as well, and he was really sensational. He was the third fullback used. There's a second one, Troutman, who was able to keep going in this game, playing on the defensive side. Wenrick was the starter. He left for a long chunk, returned on defense, but you go to basically your third fullback of the game, and he scores the winning touchdown to give you the state title.
So the third trip to the state finals for Manheim Central. They got a gold in 03, a silver in 04, and they'll get another silver trophy here in 2009 as Manheim Central, a terrific run, District 3 champions yet again for the 16th time, and they come away with a silver trophy here in the PIAA state championship game. Selinsgrove, on the other hand, their 6th straight District 4 championship. And now, for the first time ever, Selinsgrove will take home that gold football, first state championship in the history of Selinsgrove football. And congratulations, Dave Hess, in his second season, now 29-2. And his captains will get the gold trophy and take it home to Selinsgrove.
I think it's safe to say coming in that most people thought Manheim Central would win this game, because they have the experience. Selinsgrove has never been here. Mike Williams has such a great career on the sidelines for the Barons, but both teams really, it was an entertaining game. Over 8,100 people here at Hershey Park Stadium for the back end of today's doubleheader. We're treated to a fantastic matchup, a 3-point game. Selinsgrove maybe didn't get respect in some people's eyes. Certainly in Selinsgrove, that would be the case. They earned the respect on the field here tonight. Takes nothing away from Manheim Central, a team that was 15-0 coming into tonight, comes up just a little short, looking for their second state championship.
So Selinsgrove will finish unbeaten. Manheim Central will finish at 15-1. Selinsgrove, obviously, at 16-0, will remain the unbeaten team in Class 3A, and they will take home the state championship. That's going to do it for our coverage of day number 1. Again, don't forget the early start tomorrow. AA game at 10, followed by the Quad A game at 2 o'clock. Our producer for the Pennsylvania Cable Network is Paul Podolsky. Our director is Andy Himmelwright. A great job by all of our crew. Thanks to Travis Sparks and to Jeff Zimmerman for stat help in the booth. And, of course, Mike Zambelli and Jim Wills with our halftime show. For my partner, Steve Degler, my name is Bob McCool. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow morning from Hershey for more state championship coverage on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Have a great night, everyone.